who get to decide what we talk about every day in the afternoon session. We got Neil and Sean, they're back and they're locked and loaded, ready to look at the tickers as selected by you guys on How to Trade Midday Show. Make sure to catch that with the day or night and get your vote in every day. Otherwise, it won't get covered. The Qs, very much flat on the Qs, whether you're looking at the NQ September contract or the triple Qs. We're on that 497 area. Still haven't been able to breach that $500 level on the NQ or on the triple Qs, excuse me. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Made definitely an attempt this morning, though. Tesla, the #1 name as selected by you guys, and we mentioned this one umpteen amount of times on the How to Trade Midday Show. This one breached 260 quite aggressively, but it didn't stop there. It kept continuing up into that 264 level. We've been talking a lot about the shorts getting squeezed here. About 4 or 3 some odd percent, 4 some odd percent of the float is shorted, and about $3.5 billion got wiped out from shorts last week trying to take this one, though. Big move today again for it, guys. What's the look on Tesla?
Yo, what's up, everybody? Oh, no, I hear myself again. Okay. Yeah, look, Tesla has been just, shout out to Brendo. We are, so just on Tesla alone today, we're beating our net from yesterday just on one stock here. And I think it's just, it's been so good. It's been so strong. Buying all these pullbacks. We were initially long on the first pullback. Again, just like yesterday, man, our #1 stock yesterday was Tesla. Our #1 stock today, Tesla. It's not even close today. Like, I was so happy with Palantir, and thank you for the nice comments from Wayne back there, because he saw the kind of shares and everything we were using there on Palantir, and he was like, wow, that was a good trade. But Tesla just continued to work, man. Dipped into VWAP, boom. Dipped into VWAP again, boom. There's the break of 260, boom, all the way to the upside. It just kept on going. I like Tesla. I like the stock, and it just keeps on moving higher, baby. We're long again on a reload. 1 reload, 2 reloads, 3 reloads, 4. I mean, we're about to make some nursery rhymes up in here with Tesla. So good trading today. I hope all of you jumped on this bandwagon. It's not even something that I had written down here. It's just, this is what experience brings to you, right? You see that it's been a hot stock. All of you guys were talking about it. I went over to it, and thank you so much for that. We've now, I was so happy with Palantir. We've more than doubled that net just on Tesla alone right now. So good stock, great day to trade it. It just continues, man, to march higher. I'm going to hold on. I have a very, very small piece now. Apple, I mean, Intel is next, but I mean, Intel, we're $1 in the money almost from that bottom that we had as well. Today's just been a great day trading, and I hope you guys have had similar luck with some of these names as well. So, yeah, Tesla, the biggest and the baddest, man. It wasn't on my radar early, but it was definitely on there past 10 o'clock. Thanks for the reminders, Tesla, #1.
It is the monster that just does not keep, it just doesn't stop. The only concern I'd have is it just got to the next stop on the daily.
Yeah.
It's like that's it. Like, if you look at it, the channel's broke, the stock is gone, great dip buys in there. I wish I liked it a little bit more today. I can't say that I did. I'm glad you did. But 265, it's a point on a chart, but it is what it is. It's the top of the channel. The last time we got it, 265, and candidly, you know, in my personal account, when I bought the 150 dip at the bottom of this channel, those shares I sold at 265. It's like, this is the spot. And I go back to something that we always talk about, like, no one ever went broke taking profit. I still own it on my long-term account. I'm just talking about the recent entry. But if it does break 265 tomorrow, there's 278, 280 in there, and then $300. Those would be the next stop. Until it has a red day, this is going to go in the strong bucket. But when I see this at the highs up to 4%, I am brought back to the thing that did not continue. So for this afternoon, Rivian failed $16 and is pressing toward the lows while Tesla looks strong. So in looking at relative strength and relative weakness, this just failed a double top at 16. I'm looking at VWAP in here and saying, this should be a trend down type of trade. A lot of times it goes up in sympathy. If it could have held 16, I think I would have found the way into a long, but every time it got above it, you had these rejections. And we were, at lunchtime, you maybe could have scalped 5-10 cents out of it, but I'm starting to look short on this EV name. Not looking nearly as good. It's up 1%, but that's deceiving. because it failed that double top break at 16 even. I think this afternoon, a short into VWAP there. If you can't get dragged up by Tesla today as an EV name, then this afternoon, I think looking in the other direction can be doable.
Intel with a hell of a day yesterday. Over % in the green during regular trading hours, traded another 3% in the green in the aftermarket, and today we're up 1 2/3. Multiple reasons for this, guys. There is that Battle Mag GPU that they want to release for PC gaming. There's also that Lunar Lake CPU that might help with Microsoft's new AI PC. And then there's this options volume coming to us from Benzinga, a decidedly bullish call side over here. About 53% of the unusual options activities were calls to the tune of about $1 million, guys. What's the look on Intel?
All right, so again here, Intel, another, where's the sticky note thing here? Another, not Travolta, another sticky note idea that we had right here, and you can just see it right here if you wanted to. Intel long, 33.75. We also talked about it being overcooked. Overcooked, in my opinion, Intel. So that was off the open. So overcooked, yeah, definitely came to the downside there. So we were right about that. And then there's 33.75. The bottom of the day is 33.72. We wrote down long if 33.75. We have 33.75. That's where we're long right now, 76. It's now $1, almost $1 in the money. So again, a big trade there for Intel. Obviously didn't start the trade properly because we started getting long at 34. And then, of course, when we're starting to get long at 34.10 and then again at 34 flat, our target area is down here. So this is where we put on a little bit, then a lot more, and then boom goes the dynamite. I mean, we've really been hitting some of these names quite well today. Intel, just another one of those. Good trade there, easy kind of trade. Went right into the levels that we thought. And whenever that happens, the only thing I hate is not reloading. So 33.80s and change, could have reloaded there, didn't. So that's on me. But I mean, yeah, Intel, again, another sticky note name, another win. We only have one red name today, going to be Amazon, but this is a good trade for Intel. I just think it's over. Like, I just think it's had a nice move. We'll wait for that next story. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets up to here again. I mean, on the daily chart, it's 34.35. We wrote this down yesterday. Yesterday, we had 32.50s long or 32.80s long. Now today we have the same price there, 33.75. So this keeps on getting a little bit more excited. Still down 30% on the year. Intel, a good trade off that bottom. Kind of reminds me of DraftKings. Maybe we don't see a bottom like this again, but good level there of $30 for Intel.
Yeah, all last week, actually, I'd say for the last month, Intel has been giving you like this consolidation, which every single time we pulled it up, like, hey, if it breaks consolidation, trend up, trend up. That's what it did. It went right to the earnings top, 35.40 in the pre-market, and then turned from there. So as long as it holds on to like this area of consolidation, which is around the 34. 34 was my line. I was looking at this consolidation before. It didn't hold it today. So when I took shots at it, the first shot actually worked, but then we reloaded it and did not work out. But I like it holding up their 34 level. When I see this kind of a trend break, one down day or a pullback day does not end it. It's way too big of a consolidation break where it's so much coiling up and I guess momentum that can still come in. So a consolidation day today, it still needs to press 35.40, but that channel managed to hold 34 even. But this is why we mentioned this. Tesla did a similar thing. You can see what's breaking out there. This is not Tesla. It's not going to run as far as Tesla. I wouldn't expect it to have the kind of move of Tesla, but AMD did a similar type of move. And why is AMD even on? I didn't even know AMD is listed in Germany. But if you put DE in our system in real trading, you actually get advanced micro devices. So hey, shout out to anyone that wants to trade it there. AMD also making a similar pullback. So this is 174, where the previous top was, downward channel. It broke back out. I was shorting this one all day long, but it held that dip in front of the 174. So just a kind of a calm down, slow down day for both of these big breakouts. The last couple of sessions. I still think these aren't necessarily done. I just want to show there's some size on this MSOS. You got the news at the end of the midday show there. I was in short at 7, scalped some out 695, shorting back into the previous high of 713 here on MSOS. I have 04 short, looking for that retracement play, just a news-based play in here. and it's right at VWAP now. If it fails VWAP, I might be able to add to this, but just looking for that curl. If it regains pre-market lows as support, I want to be able to jump out of this above the 713 area on MSOS. Kind of a new trade, just news dropping. You can see the volume spike. You could have looked at Tilray, you could have looked at CGC or something else, but the first thing I pulled up was MSOS and had that 710 level that we're working off of now.
The biggest of the semi names, Nvidia, catching a nice move upside today to the tune of, well, 1.5%. It really is coming off the back of several nods that KeyBank Capital gave to the semiconductor names today. Marvell among them, as well as AMD, but Nvidia getting the price target upgrade here to the tune of 180 from 130, a $50 bump, guys. What is the look on Nvidia?
Oh, NVIDIA. So I actually don't have a trade on it, but we can, we can have a quick little look here on NVIDIA. I mean, it kind of did the same thing it did yesterday, and we talked about this earlier, and that was like if we look at what it did yesterday, where is yesterday? There it is. So here's an early move to the upside, and then just a fade completely all the way down, and kind of just drifted down. We get this move here. Oh, no, sorry, that's 2 days ago. So the same thing happened yesterday. There's the big move yesterday, upside, and very similar. Here's today. So there's yesterday, upside, battles around the top, then falls. Today, huge move, battles around the top, and then falls. It's like it really wants to get going. People get really excited about NVIDIA off the open, and then the profit taking comes back in. Remember, this stock is in a put up or shut up mode as well. Like they need to keep hitting these outrageous targets that they've been hitting. So there's no doubt. I think it's foolish to doubt them that they can't get this 29 billion revenue number for the quarter or whatever the expected is. It's just, there's the excitement, there's the pullback, right? We mentioned the NASDAQ today. And again, first of all, Tesla now $4 in the money and ripping, and so is Apple. So we'll watch out for that in a minute. But right now we're talking about NVIDIA. I just think it's the NASDAQ here. You know, we were talking short all day. You know, we've only been long, which has been crazy. But remember when the NASDAQ, we opened the day up 0.3, and I was like, you know what? I'm not really feeling bullish today. Didn't really like that. There's the NASDAQ to the downside. Here's NVIDIA getting going, and then there's the downside. So I just, I think it's still following the market a little bit. I like the stock. I think you got to trade it when it breaks key levels. And then if it doesn't, then you kind of got to wait. So that for me right now, it's kind of just hovering around. I'm going to take a wait and see approach. That 130 doesn't seem to mean anything again anymore. So we'll have to wait for high breaks or something. But for me, NVIDIA, pretty sleepy time right now. Like I said, it's been great. I mean, the volume's been huge, and it's been a good stock, over 200 million shares. But I don't know, barring any kind of news hitting her now, I'm going to wait for NVIDIA for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it really broke that trend nasty at the 132 level. And since then, it's just been a short. So our chart's not split adjusted. I'll just leave it on. I'll leave it on the 3 minutes so you can get an idea of what happened here. It was an early breakout 31s. It was dip buys off 32. When it lost 32, it was probably a short. I wish I could tell you that I shorted it, but we just got out of longs. And the flush was insane back into the 129 level. It's difficult to think of this long when it's underneath that first breakout price at 131. So I got to lean in the other direction here. And we already mentioned AMD. I didn't mention ARM is a good time to try to do it. Look, if you're wipe out bottom and then back through the breakout price, that 131, and then we can talk. And we'll go for like that long afternoon recovery trade, which NVIDIA has done before, but not when it's trending down like this. So you're getting successive lower highs on the NASDAQ. You're getting lower highs on in most of the chip names. And the other one that falls into this bucket is ARM, which is also putting in lower highs. Only I feel like if this gets to VWAP, forget about it. So you got to look for something a little bit different. Let me zoom it in here on ARM. So trend down 1.5%. NVIDIA's technically still up 1.5%, by the way. For all this, it's actually still up on because it gapped higher. But ARM is down 1.5%, and I want to look for some opportunities to curl. It's got a lower high that it's putting in or testing at 182. If it breaks out this top, I'd be looking at 184.5. Oh, by the way, we had to pay for locates on ARM, but as usual, 1/8 of 1 cent per share at real trading. Super, super cheap for us to have the ability to go short on this name, but you do have to pay for it. RIVN, I got short in front of that 1580. We just grabbed some 73s. But I'm liking ARM trend down as well this afternoon. Just follow the market. If a stock is trending down, the market's trending down, then it's reasonable to look to join that trend. If it's trending up while the market's trending down, maybe not the best one to be short.
Citibank up 2 4/5. Banks report starting on Friday, guys. Keep that in mind if you were following the earnings season for banks. But this is what's important today. Looks like the Fed may be changing some of the rules for GSIBs. That stands for globally systemic important banks, and they have a special set of rules that they have to adhere to. Some of these other banks don't. That's obviously good for balance sheets as they can allocate capital a little bit differently. Citi, as I said, up nicely on the day. Did you guys look at this one?
Not. But Citigroup has been, I mentioned it yesterday. I mentioned JP Morgan coming through, and I said the bank that I think is the better one to own right now would be Citigroup. And I mean, it just continues to go to the upside, taking out levels, man. I mean, we still own some Goldman and some JP Morgan. Those have been performing really well. But with the banks, I mean, there's some new reports today about what Fed Chair Powell said. They're trying to reduce some of the sort of the strings on these banks there. I'll have to get the exact details on it, but it was just talking about, just here, search by symbol C here, reducing some of the restrictions of the deposits held by banks. So again, there's just been some talk there. We'll talk about it more on the recap show, but continues to work. I mean, banks have been pretty hot. If you look at the PEs, you know, some of the ratios that these guys are at, they're making more money more than ever right now. Citigroup continues to climb higher. It's breaking out. Earnings next week. I mean, starting on Friday, it's going to be good. Normally you don't want to buy banks or any stocks that are up so much into earnings. It's like people are just front running the report. But at the same time, as long as rates still stay this way, their net interest margin should be fine. I like Citigroup here. Yeah, probably should have looked at it. The only position that you could have had right here is a dip back into VWAP, in my opinion, at 65.50. So that's your real trading play right there. Other than that, I don't see much. Maybe a dip buy right now. But that's the level right there, 65, and it was missed. Probably should have looked at banks, and I think we'll start looking at them a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm actually remotely encouraged by the fact that some other banks, which are dying, well, I mean, the charts are going to the downside, are starting to show some signs of life. Because when you pull up that Citigroup chart, and you've already seen a chart of JP Morgan, I'm assuming you probably already have, but I look at some of the Canadian banks, and this, like TD, which, one of the ones I own, it's been a good buy down here, but it's showing signs of breaking back out at like 56. This is one that's going to be on my radar if it can ever take out and then hold above. Not much happening right here, but as Sean mentioned, you got to have, when you have this kind of a move during the day, there's like two really good spots that you can have this. Like it pulls back into VWAP, that's a reasonable shot. And then when it pulls back into 66, that's a tougher trade to have, but it shows you like this setup in here where it dips hard, gives a couple of wicks, and then breaks back out. For the afternoon trade, maybe you could do some like scalp it off of 66.40. Just not seeing a heck of a lot available for the afternoon on Citi, but it is a blue sky setup on that daily. Like it's just continuing to break out. So I think you got two types of banks, the ones that are breaking out and continuing to trend, and then an eyeball on some of the others as we go into earnings season for the banks, which are trying to break out of the doldrums. And TD, no, for lack of a better word, like what do you say when you have a name like this, which is riding the 50 period to the downside, but could be breaking out this top. And if it gets through, it's like 56 and a quarter. This is the one that I have my eyes on for like a channel break. You can see it with the clean downward trend in here. If I draw a trend line, it's going to show you the same breakout at 56 and a quarter. So this is the one I got my eyeballs on. That's not going to do what Citigroup did. It's not going to be at all-time highs any soon. But if the banks are starting to go, there are some that can play some catch-up here.
Jumia, 30% in the green here for the small cap gapper. Big move up on the day after getting the nod from Benchmark, a buy rating and a price target of $14. Kept my eye on this one during the How to Trade midday show. Didn't get in on it, but it was able to maintain its levels, guys. I know this one not really down your alley, but what's the look?
The float's way bigger than not way bigger, but when I first pulled this up, I was like, oh, this thing probably has like a 20, 30 million float or something down in and around there. 100 million on the float, it's done 16. So it's not like it's churning through like multiple times. The short float's only 5%. So it doesn't necessarily have the profile that I was expecting, but it's also not, like this isn't some smaller cap name which has a downward sloping garbage chart. It's literally the opposite on Jumia. And it's higher lows, it's higher highs. I would caution that when it's made these spike tops, it's tended to pull back after, spike a top and then pull back, consolidate, fall back on trend. But it's still looking very strong on the daily chart. And last time it took out a high, I mean, it went 20-something% off of that high break. This seems a little bit extended, but it's holding highs to end the day. I mean, if it's going to close up here, this might just be a couple of days maybe left in this rally. I'd watch it for a pullback into VWAP. You're seeing what's happening with the volume today, so I wouldn't get terribly excited. I'm trying to show you guys the volume here. I wouldn't get terribly excited with an afternoon trade when the volume looks like this at the close. But if it can get going again, I think this might be potentially longer lasting, because this was not the daily chart that I was expecting. When you pull up something like this, half the time you're looking at a downward trending chart and you're like, where is this thing going to fade? Instead, you have it trending up, and it's sustained some moves before. So I think it's worth it to at least keep eyes on this afternoon. But volume absolutely dead at this point on JMIA.
Just telling the professor here. Yeah, I reloaded at 130. Reloaded Tesla there. Professor, just like Tesla's at highs. I'm just like, we're reloaded. Right there, but we like that one here. Again, a decent day. All right, JMIA. All right, let's go. We got the dad hat on right now. All right. Look, the only real trade here today, again, was the pushback to VWAP. I mean, if you have that break, great. Through $10, I think you would really like that. I mean, there's the $10 break. I feel like you might have been a little bit nervous, but if you still took $10, you should have definitely made 50 cents because that wick top is 10.50 right there. So that's a great trade. Other than that, I feel like I'm really, really loving when there's a gap, play to VWAP, and then so $9, basically to 11. So that's a huge move right there. $2 on 9, you're up 28% just with that move. And then there's the pullback into VWAP. Once, twice, boom, you're gone. So yeah, Jumia technology right there. I'm gonna start watching. I don't know if my kids have ever seen Jumanji actually. But nice move to the upside right there as it comes back in. Night at the museum and all that stuff. Yeah. Wasn't The Rock in one of the Jumanjis or all of them?
No, they did, what's
the new ones, yeah. So we'll have to watch.
No, wasn't that other movie?
We're watching One Piece.
He was in the new era of Jumanji that's starting.
Yeah, they did it wasn't like a reboot, it was just like was it a reboot? It wasn't a continuation? Okay, whatever.
But they're like, it's like a video game.
Yeah, it's him, Kevin Hart, and they occupy other people's bodies or something in it. That was kind of funny. But I don't know, like the original Jumanji, anything that you start out with Robin Williams on, and then you try to do another version of it, it's just never, it doesn't work. Because if you know a movie to be a Robin Williams, like the guy's so funny. It's like when they try to do Aladdin with Will Smith. Like I'm sure Will Smith put his heart and soul into it. But if I know a character and Robin Williams,
Will Smith in Aladdin even? I don't even know. Was he one of those guys?
They did the remake and he was a genie.
Was he?
Which unfortunately, if you're trying to pick up where Robin Williams left off with one of his characters or one of his stories, it's just impossible because the guy was a genius. It's like Jim Carrey. It is what it is. Like they make the character their own in a certain way, and he made that movie his own. He was just on a different level. Super funny dude. Obviously, obviously, maybe rest.
I mean, everybody knows. Yeah,
everyone knows how great that guy was.
Doubtfire alone. Okay, so 265.
By
the way, Intel. I mean, I want to thank Wayne again in the back there for sort of talking to me about this Palantir trade. He saw when I was in it. He had a very similar play as well. And we had cleaned out a little bit going to the upside there. So I want to thank Wayne for that. And then we were able to get out there when it broke the 200 period. And then it just fell down. And then look what we did right there. Are you kidding me? No, Ramin, don't kid. But there's, I mean, what? Like that pickup right there at 20. We did it live on the show. We had this trade live with everybody on the show again. So there's the trade. Look, Tesla's pulling back off 265 now, so that got to 266 and change. I'm going to punch out if we break the 50-period moving average because we broke it here and dropped. We broke it here and dropped. And look, it held it all the way up, but that's when the trend was that way. I still feel like we could hold trend here. There's no doubt about that. But this reload, we got a piece out there, and now we'll have to see again. Most of these shares we've just averaged in. Like this was a big trade for me. Once we broke 260 there, this was monstrous. So we started like stacking up the cash on that kind of a trade. Now I'm thinking about like if we break below That's 260. Let's go 263. I mean, honestly, do you know my stop on this was 50 cents? We got long here 260, 50. If it broke 260, we were out. So to be in the money now, $4 or $5 when you're risking 50 cents, well worth it here. And especially when we can sort of see some of the success that we've had in today as well. So, all right, looks like we're getting close to that 263 level. Let's put it in. Less talking, more trading. 262.99, breaker 19. Now you can read it because we are now in there, ready to get stopped out if it does break lower. And then we will just wind up taking a $2.50 winner, which is still good. But we could have done a little bit better getting out at those tops there. But we were trying to let things run a little bit. And like I said, we had our best day yesterday, and we were talking about we had Obi here, now we have Neil here. We had our best day yesterday, probably in a month and a bit, and today we're almost double that day. So we've really done a good job trading the right sizes, the right everything here today. So good day here. And again, it's been a tough day, like I mentioned, but find the right opportunities and you can make money, and that is for sure. So we'll props it up there because we are now out of Tesla as it break back down below that level there. Now our next trade is going to have to be worried about Apple, as Apple just touching out the top again, maybe getting out here at 228.65 is a play. So we'll look at that and see if we can get out at 228.60 or 228.70. But for now, we're out of Tesla, and we'll see about reloading it again if we can get back into 260 and change.
By the way, the SPY is literally at the low, quad bottom here on the SPY. So watch out. If we flat bottom break this, you might be a little bit trendy to the downside this afternoon. The NASDAQ's putting in higher lows. Obviously, the NASDAQ and the SPY aren't always going to go the same way. But if you're watching only the NASDAQ, which is already red, the SPY breaks this, it goes red too. And I think, looking for shorts when that's the case, it has been the trend to the downside, makes sense. Tesla pulled back off 265 off the highs, but VWAP in here in 1575 is essentially where I'm going for RIVN. If it gets back above VWAP, get out. We just reloaded it after getting 65s in. What's interesting about Apple, I see Apple above VWAP and kind of holding a slight upward trend. And I want to look at like the big cap names today that are doing that. Like Meta, downward trend, sloping to the downside. We already mentioned the double or triple bottom or whatever you want to call it on the SPY. Microsoft is even more extreme, 1.5%, and it is dipping. I mean, it's probably the worst looking slope of all of the big cap tech names, and it's right on the cusp here of a key 459. Now, 2 days ago, right on Friday, this was a super strong day, bouncing right off $459. If Microsoft loses that, we're headed back into the downside. So I want to look at these stocks that are weak. Apple still looks pretty solid above VWAP, but this 459 on Microsoft is about to go. And of course, now that I said that, it probably doesn't want to take out the level, but you never know. You got to wait for it to be able to make that breakdown. ARM, we still have not gotten any press back up in ARM yet to like 184. So if it's not going to get higher than this 182 half level, I might jump in here on ARM and not necessarily wait for the VWAP. Just give it to like 182.60 or so, like 50 cents worth of risk on ARM. It is, like I said, we had to pay for locates, but I want things trending down to short pops and to just play the weakness wherever it happens to lie. So we just reloaded on RIVN, and ARM, we are having a look at this 182 level. We'll give it to 182.5. Oh, I want to talk about crypto. We didn't really mention anything about crypto. Mara was the name for me. The long off of 19 worked, and then the VWAP was working, and then we had this reload at 1960 that we got at like 1955. But as you can tell, Mara's doing the other thing. It went from a long off the bottom to a short opportunity. Like, look at this wick just now. It just wicked the previous low. I like this for a short trade back into the high. Mara doing its best, but this is a little bit weaker than the last bounce off 19. You see it losing that local bottom there on Mara. So keep an eye on Bitcoin. It was making a recovery earlier, but giving up a little bit of that here in the afternoon.
All right. What else you guys want to talk about? I'll try to see if there's anything else.
Nike is still
That's setting up.
Yeah.
Sure, we can look at Nike right now. Here right now. Okay, so yeah, Nike 72, 73. It looks like a lot of size. 15 million shares today done, in a couple 10,000 or more shares there on the bid that just got wiped out. As there goes Nike back down to the downside here again. Yeah, so yeah, this looks like a great short, to be honest with you. Shorting Nike into here off the 50-period moving average could definitely be something. That's only 88 right now for Nike. I'm debating just doing that and getting out or taking Nike. This VWAP break, I'm just going to put this out in right now. This has been an amazing stock today, as it will not go into the gates of hell. That is Intel. I mean, this stock, the fact that we had written down that level and it actually held out, that 33.75, 34.30. So if we break that, 34.28, let's get out of this trade. So we'll put that short in there as well. And then now let's go over and focus on Nike, as we'll see about that. I think we can go short against this. Look at this trend, man. The volume's kind of not necessarily picking up, but yeah, definitely looking downside there. I think a reload up to 88 or 90 is definitely something to look at. So we'll take that in consideration now. 90s to get out of the short. Let's put it on. And look at that trade on Tesla, by the way. Reverse dollar club, right? I mean, that just bounced down through 262. We got out at 263 break. So saving ourselves $1 on that rate there. So, man, today's been a good day. Like I just said, let's go over to Nike there. We already talked about Palantir a little bit. We're already in that play. And here's Nike. We looked at that. I feel like we're at a good level now to possibly put it on a short, at least to start it. So let's do that. We'll see if we can get some 77s. And then if we do, we will continue the trade to the short side. Trying to short some 77s here. As you can see, you don't know. Oh, there we go. We got part filled. We're not fully filled yet, as we were trying to get paid to get this trade. So we'll wait to see if we do get our full position now. We're starting our trade off short 77s using this 50 period now as our out for Nike. So 72, 90 or so and out. We might even just use that top. What is that? 72.90. Yeah, okay. 72.90 out. So right now it's 12 cents. Well worth the risk. Let's see what happens here with NKE trying to do that.
Just do it, Nike. They got to, but you know what? There's going to be a moment for those stocks. When I say those, I'm talking about the Nikes, the Lululemons, which are continuing to fall. Don't get me wrong. Like eventually, at some point, they're going to catch these bottoms. But the trend has been pretty nasty into the downside for those, and I think it's like a short till it's not situation. Let it make a bottom before you try to make a bottom. We did get ARM quickly reload in RIVN. Reload on Rivian here, 73, 74. I have 73 half as a price because we got a couple of fills in there, 73 and a 74 fill. It's trying to trend back in. We get down to 1560, we'll take another leg out. And then ARM, we just jumped back into ARM right in here, this consolidation, 182 and a half. So we're short just above 182. You got a local bottom at 181 and a half, which is probably going to make some sense to go 1-to-1 in the afternoon and just get some of that out. As you're about to test that this S&P 500 quadruple bottom here as we speak. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
Just be aware of Embraer here, ERJ. This one up like more than 7%, near highs of days right now, getting some strong volume pops we head into the afternoon. Not seeing any news on this, but it started pushing higher here around 11 a.m., which is when we got Boeing's delivery numbers here. So could be a bit of a counter move with Boeing here as these deliveries coming in. 44 commercial jets only for Boeing for the month of June. So keep an eye on ERJ. This one getting some nice volume pops, guys.
Oops. Accidentally pulled that up in Brazil, which it is a Brazilian stock and it's listed primarily on the Brazilian exchange. So just a side note, if you ever see an imbalance on ERJ on the New York, don't get too excited about it because the primary market's Brazil and sometimes it'll be the other direction. Yeah, this is one that I didn't actually pick up. I know I talked about looking into this stock as an alternative with some of the money that I'm not putting into Boeing at this particular moment, or more into Boeing. It might be breaking back out above this 50 period. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. If it's breaking this trend, it's been such a good alternative name. You have a duopoly in this world, and everybody understands that. And if you can have any kind of penetration for ERJ, into that. I think there's a tremendous potential, and it's a good-looking chart as well. So nice upward trend for them, but I don't necessarily see a big trade here for them. And I haven't looked at Boeing today. Ugh. Yeah, Boeing. Yuck. Yuckity yuck yuck, Boeing. But unfortunately for Boeing, it had that big move downside yesterday, and then today, all it did is try to get to yesterday's close and then trend down. Yuck, this is probably, if you can find a short down into 182, there's still room to go. This is just nasty. It's like stair step, fall, stair step, fall. Each time on a 3-minute there's been a green candle or a set of them, it's been an opportunity to get short on Boeing. Yeah, forget about ERJ. Like, just finding the next consolidation to join the trend here on Boeing is going to make sense. It just continues to fall. What an ugly, ugly name it's been. Even when it looks like it's going to go on the daily, it just falls right back in and cannot break out. This 190 is the problem here on Boeing. Every time it gets there, it runs out of steam. If it breaks 200 again, I think that's going to be fantastic. Uh-oh, ARM just took out that 172, 182.50. So we jump out of ARM. We're trying to get some one-to-one there, but we don't. So we'll give some back that we made on ARM, this 84 level. Still want to look for this 84 if we get that again. But ARM could not hold on to this consolidation in here. So we'll wait for the bigger level to come in on ARM, which leaves us with that RIVN short, which is still slowly falling into the downside.
All right, yeah. I was just looking up here. We're at Nike. We're waiting. Man, we're gonna get a lot of rain coming through. It's too bad because I have some tonight and then all tomorrow. It's supposed to be the worst rain you've ever seen. Hurricane Beryl.
It's been brutal. It's been brutal. Beryl.
They're pronouncing Beryl.
Yeah,
B-E-R.
Yeah, it is.
I was thinking about Merle, like the name Merle, and then
Merle's one of my favorite characters from The Walking Dead.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, bad. Into tonight, into tomorrow. So get ready for that. It's too bad because we have a game. It's actually okay. My daughter's away, so I was glad that she kind of misses it. But yeah, we have some call-ups scheduled tomorrow, and they were telling me how excited they were to come up from T-ball to play on the beloved Jets. But unfortunately, looks like that will be a little bit canceled.
Nvidia's breaking back.
Yeah, so Tesla's trying to get back up to the upside. That's a nice one. And right now, okay. Yeah, we have a position now. We're short at 86. I'm going to give this 10 cents. We talked about this coming up to 90. So I feel pretty good about being short. I mean, I'd rather be short 90, but we can't pick the exact prices. And again, I was talking about this back there. And it was just like, you know, you're never going to pick the exact price of anything, but you got to have a rough idea of what we're trying to do with the pricing. So we just came up to 90, and of course, as we trade that, there it is right there. Our best fill is 89. We were going to use the 50 period as 87, so that's kind of where we're short right now. And I'm going to use this little level, that's 90, and I was going to give it 10 cents or so 95, 96 break, and we'll get out of Nike and just be like, okay, you know, we're wrong. And we can be wrong on this one, that's fine. Good little starter position here. Nike's not even down that much. I just thought if the pain was going to continue here, we broke below the pre-market. Ideally, you'd like to see it back to the 200 period if we were really going to put on. We have a good amount of shares. There's no doubt about that. Probably, maybe even too much. But at the end of the day, we're comfortable, we're confident with this, but we don't have the crazy amount of confidence. It's not really moving. So for this to work, the futures are going to have to come back in a little bit. I am bidding something at 82 because that'll give us the 5 pennies. And then hopefully we can get 1-to-1 back down in for that 10-cent win. But again, 70 is the bottom. Like, why did we bounce off of there for Nike? If we're looking at a 20-minute chart, I don't know. Shouldn't have really bounced there. I feel like we could just keep on moving to the low side. So, yeah, pretty confident that Nike wants to go a little bit lower. We're short right now and just kind of doing the work that we need to do to be successful, and that is try to find the best opportunities, look at what you guys are looking at, talk about some of the trades that we have with guys behind us and whatnot. And here comes Nike, nice little pull in here, just a little bit. And we just have, you know, just a couple shares. We'll see what winds up happening.
Yeah, speaking of, like, since we mentioned Boeing, yeah, there's a bit of a bounce. It hadn't had a single solid green candle, I guess, since like the middle of the day. I don't have any trades on it, but if this, like, that's a pretty big wipeout bottom. A lot of times you're looking for a consolidation lower. I just said if it consolidates, look for a next consolidation short. That's not a consolidation. That is finding some kind of a bottom. So we still have to wait this one out. Pretty strong move there for Boeing. Random, I don't really know what the deal is. Maybe it's just a volume bottom. I have no idea. So we'll have to wait for that to calm down. Not just going to blindly short it when it gets to a resistance when you show that kind of strength going in. But NVIDIA is waking back up. No breakdown here when it gets back to 130.5.
Oh, yeah.
So all I need to see is get back underneath, show a fail break, and this can be a short. But if this breaks out the top, we said we like it when NVIDIA goes running in the afternoon. Hold the higher low. If it does that, I have no qualms flipping into a long trade there. And here comes Mara. Mara, we wanted to play back into the previous low. There it is. There's your wick bottom, 19.5 or 19.15 and 19.20. We're going to jump in after it just did this fail break at 19.15.
We were mentioning trying to trade like more shares and make sure that the ideas that we have are there. So just to show you, like just this Nike trade, hopefully they'll continue to the low side. But even right now, this has paid off a little bit here as we come back into the downside. You know, whether or not you take 100 shares, 10 shares, 20 shares, 500 shares, 1,000 shares, whatever you're going to take here, you got to make sure that you follow your rules and you do things, honestly, just the right way. And I feel like the way we've been trading lately is the damn right way, because there it is right there. All of a sudden, Nike goes up to like number 3 or 4 profitability. And we put this trade on, again, 5 minutes ago and for everybody. So let's wait to see what winds up happening right now on Nike. Nice little push back into the downside. There it is, man. We're 12 cents in the money. So you want to go 1-to-1 as a trader? Here it is right here. This is already 1.2-to-1 as we continue to go. We talked about getting stopped out if it broke. At that time, we're short 87s, 96 out, slippage 10 cents, 97, 98. So here it is right here now, 12 cents in the money for Nike and continuing. Honestly, Neil, this is like, oh man, what a day it's been here today for everything. We're just adding some stocks to the list right now, and it's been pretty good to say the least. Tesla, look back at that. I can go over and start looking at what you guys want to do here. Snow, yeah. What is Snow at? So we bought some in the 50s. We bought some in the 20s for Snowflake. We can have a look. We've been looking really at Palantir, obviously, a lot. Ooh, 138. Okay. We might be flat on our position as we've talked about getting some Snowflake into here at like 140 or so on this dip down in on bad earnings. We did buy this. I mean, I think we tweeted it out. We talked about that. And then we got some into here too. It was probably 128s, 129s. That bottom is 124. So we're probably flat, or if not still a little bit down on this position for Snowflake. But again, down 3% today. It was at 140 earlier on. Snowflake, okay. Nice little move there. So Snowflake down, Palantir down as some of these big data. Oh my, Neil. This is a good trade right here. One more time for us on Nike, man. Let's put some bids out here. See if we can get filled on this bid again. And there it goes. See if we can still get some more shares out here on 74 as we do get a piece out there. Let's see if it can come back in again right there. Nike, man. There we go. We got them all right there. Let's spin that money as it just goes right into the pocket again. And that is, guys, another one. So we can, like I said, I can review everything with you guys if you want. First trade today, Apple. Boom, we're still in that. That's a winner. This is our loser of the day, man. Amazon. Love the trade. Was our number one idea, 198. It never got to 198. We should not be cooked on this, but we are. Amazon, we're down on. Okay, on that one. Intel. We don't need to talk about that too much. There's, obviously, we just showed it to you. That's a great trade. Nike, we just put on. Palantir is my number 2 stock of the day. This is going to be a good one. And then Tesla has been a dream. And we should have just reloaded again off the 200 period right there, as you can see. But so far, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names today. 6 names today. We'll go 5 and 1. So, hey, man, you're welcome, Frank. I mean, no matter what tips, you can see Neil's trades, my trades, all that. You guys are the ones that have to put them on. So, I mean, I'm putting them on with confidence. So I'll take the thanks for the Nike trade. But thank you for, finding it, for everybody in the chat, and for you guys for putting it on if you did like that trade. So, that's why it's important, I feel like, that when we give you the ideas, especially for me, right? Like, I'm trying to use a little more shares. So I'll tell you on days when I'm like 5 losses, 1 win or something like that, because I'm going to be red on those days. You got to try to give the best opportunities, and again, we talked about this earlier, the best opportunities, the most amount of shares, you know, and then when you're wrong on it, you got to have a stop. But when you're right on it, as long as you can hit when you're right, then you've got it. So this game, and again, we talked about this with Daniel, and I really appreciate what he talked about there on how this is basically, it's a losing game for day traders out here right now, right? It's tough to hit the levels that we're all trying to hit every single day, especially fighting all these algos and everything like that. But as long as you're trying to get better every day and make those changes and, you know, let the market tell you if you're right or wrong, not your head, because you can just look down and see your P&Ls. Sometimes we get too emotionally attached to some of these trades. Take the trades, get in, get out. And again, thank you for all the participation in the chat. And again, you guys can ask us for any names or anything like that at all times, just like on the midday show. Yeah, that's that. We're really only in one name now, Nike. It's my newest position, and it's a short. My first short of the day, actually.
The first short of the day, and it's been trending down. So you have to look. The stock market's going to have up stocks, down stocks, all that good stuff. I want to say one thing about Snowflake. I think it's pretty fortunate. We do our trades of the week in the week ahead video, or week ahead email, I should say. It's actually not in the video, but Snowflake pretty much decided it would only go to the 50 period and come back. Because Snow was actually mine a couple weeks ago for this breakout, and you'll see it basically got to the 50 period. I didn't notice this, but it's a complete breakdown at that 50 period. And look at the rejection. Now, obviously, I wasn't here yesterday when it failed that head and shoulders, but that is a fail break. It goes to the 50 period. It's not to say that this is an obvious flat bottom break, but it's a pretty decent one. And when you see something like that, you know, for a trend, gets to the 50 period, it's a line on a chart, but when it wicks that line on the chart, shows you the lower high, pops in, this is once, twice, and then yesterday holding like 140.70, loses that today, and then just trend down the entire day on Snowflake. So it was really good when it broke out a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, that 50 period is proving to be a bit of a problem for Snowflake. Until it gets back above that, this is very much still in the trend. Look at when it rejected the 200, look when it rejected the 50. If it holds above that 200, I might buy that in the PA personal account, but I don't think it's there just yet. You got to play it tight to the vest. I think playing it tight to the vest is the way to go when it comes to trading. Like, I look at it, like, I don't mind having red days. I just worry about how the month is going to go. But Mara, we just took it short off of yesterday's bottom and then this morning's bottom and then a resistance level in here. So we get in, it breaks contain, and then you essentially jump out of the trade. Like, rather have that be a hit and then get out of it. If we like it again at VWAP, we can take it again at VWAP. But it could fall. If it flushes from here and gets back to the low, that's fine. I'd rather wait for it to get to VWAP or show me that next level consolidation at the same price. Nvidia is still looking pretty strong. I'm on the bit of Nvidia while this is going on. It's making the breakout. I don't want to chase too far, but this is now above this resistance. So it had that monster drop, recovered to 130.60, above 130.60. I think it's the long into VWAP. Nvidia has done this before, where it's just trend most of the day to the downside, and then you get that late day rally catching a lot of people off guard. It's trying to do so, but if it gets too close to VWAP, I think you've missed the move. So the first available dip, looking for the long on NVDA. We'll see what happens. 131 could be support to resistance, but I think if it's going to do this kind of scalp trading for most of the afternoon, that's like a 50-cent range that it's spent an hour and a half in. So if it does that again, I'd rather be long that into VWAP in 131 than fighting the short when it's putting in higher lows as we speak, and it's 3 greens in a row here on NVIDIA. Trend is your friend, but that works in every single time frame, right? Like in the shorter time frame, this is actually big volume here at the top, reversed, big volume at the bottom, and in the midst of a reversal. So until it gets to VWAP, going to look to buy the dip here in NVIDIA. If we do get a reload in RIVN, it's very likely to be right here, right now off of VWAP. So we scalped it a couple of times. Just wait for it to make a little wick top and then get back in. Not on the way up, on the way down. RIVN's aiming for VWAP here. Been short in front a couple of times. Just going to wait for the reload.
Yeah, no reload necessary here. We only have a quarter of our position left on Nike as we just got 71s there, like as if. So good trade there for Nike. as it just falls back in. Maybe it goes back to the upside. Damage already done there on Nike. We can obviously not lose on this name, as there we go, man. Put it on the board. Yes, right there for that one. So now we'll take another piece out there at 72s or 73s. Is that 72 or 73? 73. And now we'll wait. I do have a bid at 67. See if we get a little bit lower there for Nike. Let's wait on that. We are still pending an offer on Apple to get out. I actually put it at 65, so we come pretty close. We just stopped at 54 there for Apple. Maybe a push down. And hey, I want the market to fall. If the market falls down, that's great because our biggest position right now is Nike, and we have pretty much, I mean, notionally wise, obviously Apple being $225 name, a little bit bigger of that kind of position, but share size, it would be Nike. Palantir, I thought I had a stop for PLTR. I don't like to hold things too much through VWAP, especially if we do get a VWAP break into the end of the day. I'd rather the stock that I'm long at be trading above volume weighted average price. And if it doesn't, then I worry a little bit about that. Well, we've missed that, and now that's 60s. So let's put this stop in right now. We're already out. Like we have such a small piece of everything right now, other than Nike. I'm putting these stops in just kind of for fun. 27.58 right now. That's why, again, trying to be honest and talk about all the trades that we have on board. Like when I put this on, I was like, this is where my focus is now. We talked about money. Go Nike, man. This is, again, right here, 21 cents. You know, I mean, we picked a name, we picked a weaker name. We want to short weak names. We want long, strong names. There's Nike again, and it will turn out now. So we were bidding 67s there. We just missed it. So let's wait. But we did get another piece out anyways at 70. So that's a good trade there. The other trade I wanted to do was AMD, maybe as a short. Taking some shorts now. And that was, you just missed the trade, Sean. I mean, there's VWAP right there. So I came across the scanner there. We should have shorted the VWAP. Last time it came to VWAP, I mean, look at this. Short, 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 short. I mean, I turned to Neil, turned to Adara, more importantly, Adara. She asked me like, hey, what was the one thing that we like to use? I know we're already using it, and that's VWAP. And I was like, you know, it's short VWAP. Use VWAP as a very beginning thing. And that's sort of what's been working. It works a lot. And that's given me some of the successes that we've had. So I feel like if we can get AMD back into 177, we will try that short one more time. So that's kind of the play that I'm looking for right now. Intel's 70 cents in the money. We talked about getting out of that if that falls back in again. So picked up the bottom of the day there. And then what other names? Shorts must burn. Yeah, shorts have been burning. Join me tonight with Brian Shannon, and we'll talk all about some of those trades on board as well.
Yeah, he had some great longs. I know. Yeah, he was working out of as like everything. Like imagine like you had Tesla longs work to any kind of target that you would have had. Reasonably speaking, is it just continue? They continue to go, but we were basically last week talking about the continuation, and he mentioned this 265 area. So good shout out to Brian Shannon, fantastic guest, good friend of the show. Market recap, always fire. I mean, every day, but we love having him on there, and you get some definitely good insights, especially on a swing basis, which we don't always talk about. Every now and then we'll give swing ideas, especially on that week ahead, which I think there's some really interesting setups. I do some work on that Snowflake. I don't wonder if there isn't something there. But anyways, I digress. But that Snowflake chart looks really interesting if it can break that 50 period. Here comes NVIDIA. It just pulled right back into 130.5, bounced off that level. I just grabbed 68. So went to buy the dip with the trend. So first available dip consolidations here into 50. If it gets to 131, we'll scalp it into 131. And if it sees VWAP, great. But, it's a line in a chart. The resistance on NVIDIA has been more like 131.75 in here, which would be a break of VWAP. So I think you got to give it a little bit past VWAP. So we're right back to where we started, which is longs in NVIDIA right around the 131 area. But if it can't hold 50, it's just going to be an easy jump out. Boeing, it did that big move to the upside. We'll say we'll wait for it to make a bit of a top. It only looks big relative. You don't look at yesterday. It looks big when you zoom it in, but it made that top here, 182.40. We got some on the way down and sort of added to it to get 84s. Our average price is going to be right in the middle here, 184.13. It breaks the high, we're out. We get a test back into the lows. I'm sitting here bidding off of the low, but where it turned around. Like this wick candle was 183.85. So I'm bidding in here to see if we can get that pullback here on Boeing. So consolidation down here on Boeing. We'll see if it can hold on. But you are getting a bit of a bounce in some things in the market. Here it comes. Now it's broken contain a little bit. I'm sitting on the bid right in front of the 90 level. Like, oh, no, I'm on the other side. I'm just going to put it at 91. It's kind of obvious. So if we get a break of this, we'll look for the low of the day on Boeing. There aren't any obvious levels on this daily chart outside of yesterday's low 182.5 and then the 50 period at 180 bucks. So this thing might just be a short till it ain't. But right now, we're just working with it here, short Boeing, short RIVN. I did not yet get in RIVN at this VWAP. It's trying to break out VWAP in here. I want to see it weak before we add back in, but it's holding VWAP above, which is never a good sign. So it's holding VWAP above instead of giving you that wick exit. Might dump out of this RIVN. Would be flat if it breaks this high in here, but I'd like to find one more chance to get back in. So Boeing, still like to short. NVIDIA is not doing anything. We're pretty much flat on NVIDIA this last trade in. And I did want to jump on over. We didn't really talk about, you mentioned Alibaba this morning. We don't normally, in the afternoon, not going to trade a Chinese ADR. But I saw this in the midday and was like, oh, we should probably mention 76 on Alibaba. And then it totally slipped my mind. But Alibaba on the daily, this is what 76 looks like. Just want everyone to see it. 76. Tomorrow, if it gets to 76 and I'm not looking for some kind of a breakout past that level, I think it's a bit of a mistake. Higher lows into it, it's grinding and looking very strong. Higher lows into this. At some point, you break something like that and it can really go. So Alibaba, it got there. I don't know if you get a chance at it today, just because the market in the afternoon on a Chinese ADR is not always that promising when it comes to continuation plays. I'm just going to make the spread. It's like not filling. Okay, there we go. We just got Boeing in there. So want low of the day here in Boeing as the next play. That'll be 183.70. We'll see if we can catch that fill. But don't sleep on Alibaba in that 76 level.
76?
Look, it's like a quintuple top at $76 on Alibaba.
Oh, we wrote down $73.50, $74 today. Okay. I want to say shout out to Frank Jones. This has been a big change for me. He says, and there it is. This is what makes Sean so special. Oh, gee golly, thanks. Patience. We haven't had much patience in our life for trading, and we've really changed that. So you are right, man. That is what makes it special, this trade on Nike. I mean, there it goes right now. You want to talk about something special. There goes Nike to the downside right here. Look at this trade, guys. It's getting flushed. Nike goes downside right now. See ya, as that's just a monster trade now. I mean, we just put Nike into the stratosphere right now. This will be, again, I wish now we use more shares. I mean, look, we still had a good position. And Nike is now going to just be adding up and putting that in right there. That's a chicken dinner winner there on NKE. 10 cents worth of risk. 10 cents worth of risk for 40 right there on Nike. And we still have a piece. So let's go. But now we only have 10%. So Frank Jones, I do appreciate the talk there. And we talked about this yesterday with Kendrick. There's not much that are like us. So we will say not like us. Shout out to Compton and DeMar DeRozan and everybody else like that. And you got it. There's all about K-Dot right there. So yeah, good trade. And again, it's just, we say this all the time. You know, you gotta look for the opportunities, and I feel like that was a good one there. Now, this means new position. All right, let's see what happens. So we're short AMD. We said that someone would be, we'd be looking at a VWAP short. The VWAP really is 77s. Here we go. So in trying to teach everybody how we do this here, we're going to short now ahead of 77. So if it comes up to 77, we'll take a little bit more, just making sure, yep, we have that there. And then honestly, with the momentum that this looks like, if we break VWAP on this, then I'm only giving it to this little marker right here, not even that high. That's 177.40, no. Like 177.20, I might give this thing 20 cents. You see these wicks right here, this kind of a high? If we break above 20s, then we'll probably just be like, all right, let's back out, right? Because the more and more I trade here, and the wiser hopefully I get in my old age, probably I think it's going the other way, is we've seen these mistakes before. And like right now, and I tell you, I chase net. I don't have a problem saying that. And we're here. We're where we need to be. And I don't want to necessarily put sort of risky money after money that I feel like we've made where we want to make it today. You know, like we're going to be 6 for 7. So I'm not just going to pile in everything we've made into an opportunity that may or may not be great. This AMD trade trend is high. AMD's been a great stock to the long. We could check out Nvidia. We haven't traded that today. I don't even know where Nvidia. See, so this could be the same similar thing where you're at VWAP right here again for Nvidia. So maybe we run there. But just to get where I'm at, we're still under on the market. I'm okay shorting here. You know, we'll give this trade 30 cents, right, for AMD. So we're short here at 86. We'll get O's. When we get O's, our average price will be 95s, all right? And once we have 95s, we're giving it to 20. So 25, 30 cents worth of risk here for AMD. And there it is. We've already sort of pocketed that out for you. It's a brand new trade opportunity. And there it is right there for AMD. You want to take 10 cents? You can take that. It's 10 cents in the money now. I'm going to put my first bid in and around here. 70s or, oh, okay. Now it's more than 10 cents. Let's put a bid at around 70, get a piece out here, see if we can make 13, 14, 15 cents, which is where our reload spot would be anyways. So there's a little talk about some of the trades that we have on right now. And yeah, we're just chilling, man. 30 cents for Nike, $1 now for Intel, 40 cents for Palantir, dime for AMD, and $1.50 for Apple. So everything we're in right now is winning, but
Good timing.
yeah.
AMD just came in for short for you. Yeah, I just got out of Nvidia as it approached VWAP. It kind of got into this 131 and made the break of 131 in here, but you get a little bit of a dip by. There was a chance to reload that I didn't quite grab here at the 131.50. Now you're trending into VWAP. If it gets to the resistance spot, that's the next story. When it gets to VWAP, I'm not saying it's an automatic short. You know, resistance is here, 131.70 or 60s or so. But until it gets to that price, there's always a chance that one more dip buy into it. But yeah, that VWAP, we're just going to respect it. Boeing, still doing the dance, still holding down around that 184 even. But it is starting to roll back over. So NVIDIA is showing strength. I'd like to take one more shot. We're getting a power hour now. If it dips back into 130.5, I'd take another crack at it. Otherwise, let's see it hold and break above that VWAP. And then it can start churning. I don't know why I have Apple up on my fourth chart up there. I meant that to be Microsoft, which is distinct. Like I said, Microsoft is distinctly different from the others. I thought this was going to be a short the pop situation this afternoon, but Microsoft, yeah, for a $400 stock, I mean, the difference is if AMD or NVIDIA give you 30, 40 cent scalp trades, they're $100 stocks. If $400 stocks is giving you 30, 40 cent scalp trades, you're waiting for something else to happen. So while the weakest of the big cap tech names, I'm not seeing the best of opportunities here on Microsoft. So we'll have to pivot away from ye old softy. Still looking for that next push down here on Boeing. It's sliding, but not falling like an absolute rock like it did yesterday in the afternoon. But you can't expect when a stock like Boeing that has a day like this in the afternoon, even if it's weak, the chances that it's going to be as weak are very, very slim. Because the worst of it usually happens, and the second day you get like a smaller trend down, which is exactly what you're seeing. But it's got to break this low before we can even think about any free fall. That's at 183.5. We're sitting just out in front of that to catch the next available bid here on Boeing. If there's any small cappers that you guys know that are running, I'm not really seeing anything on the radar. The Halt scanner is pretty empty in here, except for this AEHL stock, which, I mean, its volume is a couple of million shares. So I pulled it up, and when I did, it's kind of like a yuck burger. If anything, this looks like some kind of a short. I don't know the story, but it got cut in half at one point today, and liquidity is pretty weak on AEHL. But it's the only thing I see that was moving. I would have liked something which is breaking up and halting, not something which is halting down for like the third or fourth time today.
All right, yeah. Here we go. So we're short at 97s on AMD. We sort of thought that when we said we'd be short around 95s. So there we go. We're short at 97s. Not working yet. We didn't necessarily love this trade. It did break above VWAP, but we do have our target. If you're nervous about this, there it is. Okay, Mr. Piper, if you're in the chat and you want to get out, there it is right there. You can get out now for a lovely 1 penny or just cover that trade if you want. But right now, we'll watch out to see what happens. Remember, we're short 97s on AMD. Because I just took a piece out, it's going to like we took a piece out for flat, going to keep changing the price. So we'll, judge me on this one. Short 97s right now on AMD and hoping for a move down. But that just like made that move down and then completely stopped. So I feel like this short is going to potentially get waxed. So be careful. And again, because I'm thinking that, I'm not going to average in. I'm done. The position's done right now. This is not, just so you guys know, and again, no problems telling you guys this, and I think this is what you want. I have right now a quarter of the shares on AMD, and it's a full position, than what I had on Nike as a full position. Okay, so like if I had 100 shares on Nike, I only have 25 now. I have more than that, obviously, but those are the position sizing. So, I'm not in love with it, but we'll see. We'll see if it winds up working out for us. If it does, great. If it doesn't, not great. So that's what I'm dealing with right now with Nike and AMD. So those are my two positions right now. One working and one not for those. But all right, Apple continues to go. I don't have much else. Intel still $1 and going higher. We may just get this out here. We have this top, we have this bottom, sorry. You just topped out again, maybe at 34.70. So that could be sort of an area of a little bit of concern, but I mean, I'm not concerned. So we'll wait to see if that comes in. Affirm?
What happened to Chipotle? That's a great question.
CMG? Well, nothing technical, right? I mean,
was it a system break?
No,
we're not split adjusted.
No, it's because Chipotle just is going downside because of the fact that their headwind is now, or their tailwind is now done. You always get a bump up.
Oh, there was a technical
when
break.
You're going to split. So again, part of this bump up, sure, they had great earnings. Once they broke that $3,000 mark there on earnings, they also announced the fact that they were going to split. And that created such a huge move for Chipotle again. And then once they did split, now you're all the way to the downside. I think it split over at 64, 65 again for that. So
the first day was 64-ish.
Yeah, so that's going to be part of the split effect there of CFG. Remember, Nvidia started to go down a little bit, and then it finally found its ways. So
remember Walmart, though.
Walmart's a different beast. Chipotle, Walmart is now very good stock because of the fact of the environment, right? I mean,
and its valuation wasn't crazy
with where consumers are right now, right?
Chipotle's valuation has always been kind of lofty, let's just say. But
the espresso machine is closing at 3:30 today. Okay.
Oh no, the espresso machine.
Yeah, I got my dollar.
I don't do afternoon coffees anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But Walmart. This has been trending. It's just a different story, but it was a technical break on CMG. And remember this morning, we're like, that Kava, if CMG loses it, Kava loses it because it can't break 97. Similar thing happened. So you did have this, it was a pretty big technical failure through 59. But Kava was the other story. And Kava, we talked about this one, the fail breakout 97, and then the failure here again today. So good luck, anyone that was favoring those short trades, but it is looking pretty nasty. I did take another leg out on Boeing. It couldn't get the actual low of the day, but it just curled right here. See, it bounced right off this little bottom at 183.80. So I just dipped a little bit more out as it bounced off that 183.80. So it's a very slow grind to the downside on Boeing, down 1% here today.
Haters are going to hate right now. So I say shout out to everybody right there. And this is for you, Ozan. As we get the cow going through right there. There goes AMD. I need a oops Britney thing because we just did it again right there. People are tired of the DJ Khaled right here. But there is another one. I mean, there's AMD right there. We just told you we're short 97s, right? That was our average price. Now it's going to show 03s, but we're short 97s. We just got filled down here 81, 83s, and 81s right now for that. So yes, sir. The print factory on right now. CNC Music Factory, going to make you move. Going to make you sweat right there. But this ain't making us sweat at all right now because there it is, man. Bang. What exactly is going on right now? Maybe my daughter can stay an extra week here at camp as we are starting to sort of pile up some of these trades again here today. So let's go. There's Ozan. Ozan's the one that likes the cow. So there it is. Nice trade for us there. Look, what have we put on for you so far? Nike short, 50 cents. right? Palantir, well, all these other trades are still there. AMD is right here right now. We got out of our Tesla, which so far so good, right? That was a good one. We're looking at Apple. Okay, AMD, what exactly are you saying right now? I'm going to put another bid. Actually, I'm already bidding 73s. Let's see if we get a 73 fill, and then we'll go down, down, down after that. Yeah. So there it goes. Lulu, no, man, I don't want to trade that. Nike short target, I'm not sure. What's up, Ponzi Fonzie? I don't have a target for this Nike trade. How about this? We got out at 50 last time. Maybe we'll put another bid at 50. Good move to the downside. Well traded, man. Well hit. Boom to the downside. I don't know. Luck is in the eye of the beholder, right? I mean, this just patterned out. When you're prepared, you do the work, you do the research. This is some of the stuff. There it is. Let's go, AMD. We just took an 82 fill. Let's see if we can go down, man. But preparation is key. I don't take that much time to prepare, but we prepare the right names, and you know, we do the work, and we just make simple trades. I think that's what it is, man. I'm just a simpleton making simple trades, and so far so good here today, especially on this after show. Afternoon show. Yeah, we had a big day yesterday. We said our best in months, and I'm almost double that today. So far so good.
Yeah, so far so good. You guys, just check the chat, Fabian and Ramin. They just asked me for something. It's all good. You guys got it. NVIDIA is at VWAP right now. So we got the long. We already got out of it, but we're looking for the curl off of VWAP. So here's your resistance spot. 131.70. 75, 76 is going to be that local high. So looking for a break of VWAP, then the short into that 131.75 here on NVDA. It is looking, it's a little bit strong into VWAP, but that's the level to wait for. We wanted to pull back into the resistance, and it's starting to get there. So just a little bit more of a push, get above VWAP to give us some fills in there, and then we'll grab that short. As I said, we took some out of Boeing. Boeing's going to end up, it's still sliding down. I don't know if we get another crack at another pop like the one it had before, but lower highs are still getting put in for this stock. So I do feel like, you know, work with the trend in to said downside. Still not really anything. Someone said look at Peggy for a small capper that was running, and then Peggy did this, which is not necessarily good if you like buying tops, but it does give the opportunity for a potential dip into $2 here. For Peggy, I didn't like what I saw up at the high, rejecting $2.50. That's always a psychological level, but it's above trend in terms of, you know, the reverse split. It's still above that previous high at $2, but now that it's pulling back into said $2, it looks a little bit more interesting. So PEGY, I didn't see anything I liked when it was at 250, but a dip off VWAP for a quick little scalp trade, that's more doable. Volume solid, 60 million shares done here on Peggy. Let me just quickly give you guys the float on Peggy. 62 million vol into a 7 million float. So it's churned 9 times the float today and is still above VWAP. That's pretty good, but I'd like to see it retest that VWAP. Otherwise, we're waiting for our shot to short NVIDIA after getting out in front of VWAP. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to turn here in front. Might have to nibble out in front of it and short it at VWAP first.
By the way, AMD just, again, oh my God. Can use a fall down. Yo, what's up, Hyper, my guy here? Your charts are not moving. Your charts are moving like you mine. Okay, that's I don't know.
Charts are the charts.
I don't know what that means. Yeah, the charts are the charts. So we have a live level 2 here, obviously. So this is live market data. So this is probably the best thing to look at if your charts aren't working or whatever.
Time frame.
The situation is,
Maybe you could be looking at if you're looking at like a 20-minute chart or a 30-minute or a 15-minute chart. Obviously, you're not going to get as much movement. As a day trader, you can use like 1, 3, 5, that kind of thing.
You know what else he might have meant. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth here, but yeah, in a second. I just want to say that we do have possible. Sometimes the time frame of like when our moving averages start. Like you've had a chart sometimes where you've looked at it and like the moving average on Apple on one chart is like 5 pennies lower than it is on another chart. So we haven't really been able to
One of the issues for VWAP, at least, is it's when you start tracking VWAP. And we can set here at Real Trading, you can set your data to start on the chart. You know, like this one's like 6 a.m. But I've been caught where like on one chart I might have, whoa, I heard myself for a second. One chart I might have it starting at 6 a.m. and then I look up on my black chart, it's at like 5:30 or 6:30 or something like that. And then you might get a different VWAP because it's starting from a different point, and that can end up mattering. So, you know, if you look at our chart, our VWAP, my VWAP's different from your VWAP. I'm using a 3-minute chart. So on NVIDIA here, and my data starts at 6 a.m. So that's where it's going to start really tracking VWAP. It's a small difference, but every now and then it might be my VWAP's at 180, 140 in here, and yours is at 60. Hopefully that can explain why there would be a difference, but it's just a line on a chart at the end of the day. I mean, VWAP's not going to vary that much depending on what your start time is. Some people like to look at VWAP from 9:30 only. They don't care about any pre-market action. I include about 6 a.m. On mine. Make sure you're looking at different time frames. I use 3-minute, 15-minute, and daily charts. Almost exclusively, those would be the time frames that I'm showing you guys. Every now and then, we might flip to a weekly, but that'll even be on trade ideas.
Let's go to Adara.
Be aware of Disney here. This one actually popping out. It's not reacting too much, but I'm seeing this come through. The Disney Union, which represents here 14,000 of their cast members. So those are the people who they perform at their parks. So this Disney cast member union apparently announcing a scheduled strike authorization vote. So potential strike talks here for some Disneyland cast members. Keep an eye on the Walt Disney Company DIS with that in mind, guys.
We got Disney just real quickly here. I mean, I'm a shareholder.
I was like,
I'm a shareholder in the stock, and you know, we watched this whole Nelson Peltz thing, right? We were buying this thing sort of hand over fist and talking all about it. If you want to talk about the recap show and things like that, we've been talking to pretty much all of our guests all the time about Disney when it was down here, and then we got that pop. It really worked out well, back up to the upside. So, yeah, Peltz left up here. This is where they had the vote, and then it was gone. So we were able to get some out into that vote. I mean, we talked about this. I don't have the best prices. We got some out at 100 when it went up here the first time. Then we got some out at like 108, then 115. And we do have some out at 120s, and we're still in. So I'll have to double check. Probably still in, probably half, maybe 40% of the trade. But yeah, it's stuck underneath the 200. I do not like that. We can check out when it's reporting next. But again, that story again, I don't know. To me, the big thing about Disney is they Inside Out 2 just put up the biggest numbers since Barbie.
I need to watch.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to watch it immediately with your daughter. Like literally immediately.
We just watched since she hadn't seen Inside Out 1.
Yeah, you don't need to, but it's
really.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's the same thing, but it helps. Anyways, yeah, good job. I mean, anyways. If I could recommend one, Neil, I would definitely. Well, whatever. It's the same thing, but just another.
I can't do like going to the theater. It's not, I can't do much. My wife is camping with my daughter this week, and I had to sit
don't go by
which
yourself.
was sad. No, I'm going. I'm taking them, but it's like it's one of the few things I get to do this summer.
Make sure you get the aisle seat so you can put your foot on the side. No, it is.
Having to think about that is key. Like actually, the aisle seat.
Yeah. Because I have a bad left knee, so I like the left seat so I can put my leg.
How's the tailbone, by the way?
It's tailing. All right, so yeah, I banged my tailbone as we get old. What's your problem, Ramin?
I can't hear what you're saying, Ramin. I'm sorry. It's
it just keeps cutting in back and
no.
in
We
and
keep
out,
hearing. So Ramin, we keep hearing like little things that you'll like 1 or 2 words in the ear, and I think you're talking to us.
It's all good. It's all good.
Throw me up.
Yes.
Now you're just throwing
all right, so there it is. We get out some more. I just want to review some of the trades quickly here. And Adrian, if you want to, you mentioned you want me to review a trade after hours. I'd rather just review it now. I mean, after hours is going to be hot fire with Brian Shannon today. We'll take some Q&A from you guys as well. So if there's anything you want me to do, let's do it now. I'll look for you in the chat. But yeah, we take out some more Nike. It looks like it may be barcoding. So just so you guys understand, we are under 10% now of our Nike position, under 10% left to trade on Nike. So it's already come back in. Probably gets him out if it breaks the 50 period, and then that's that. I want to thank Frank Jones for the nice words on this trade as well. AMD. All right. So again, comes back in. We take a little bit out here at 96. We did get a nice flush into 66s. Our best fill down here is 66, which is the 50 period. So we like that trade right now. Looking over at shares, yeah, yuck. We only have 15% left on this trade right now. So we'll wait. This did go against us, man. We were talking about getting out at 20s. Doesn't quite get there. Gets like to 17s. Almost an L on AMD. But we don't show our P&Ls, but I can show you. This is the only trade that we made today on AMD, and we're well green on it. So, yeah, that was a good one. Nike, Intel. Normally I'd be like, let's get some revenge on Amazon. But we don't need to get any revenge right now, and I think that that's a very dangerous way to trade. We left this alone. Look at all these fills. These are longs. Like everything red are me getting out. They're sells, right? We have no short sells. You use purple for short sells, I think? Right, we both do, right? You use purple?
Yeah, I think it's only, I think Obi might not, but we always use.
Obi's such a problem. But yeah, so we'll use, so what I'm getting at here
I wasn't trying to throw shade at him, it was just.
No, he's not a problem at all. I'm just saying that. But yeah, anyways, so unless you see some purples, like here, let me show you an example. Like Nike, these are shorts, you know, building into purple flowers, right? So that looks really good. But this trade here on Amazon just got thrown around, and we looked at our notes, and we even said this: when will Bezos stop? You know, I don't know when he will, but I don't think anybody knows. So we're just gonna have to wait for this thing to get lifted. The very mistake that I made early, and this is pretty much the whole day, is that very first trade. We battled back, man. We made some money back on the longs. There's no doubt about that. But we are red on this name, and it's because we took that break of 200. We saw it dip down in here into 199, and I was like, all right, maybe the seller's gone. Broke through 200. It worked for 210 cents. It worked for 10 cents. That's it. You know, and then after that, it was pain trade. We were able to take out 20 cents there for about a 10-cent hit, and then we got stopped out at the bottom for 50 cents worth of a hit, more like 60 cents. So that hurt. So we started the day off pretty red on Amazon, but able to battle it back, including this new long right there at 199.72 and getting some out. But again, trying to push the longs in here, some hits, and eventually we gave it up at 199.65 there, and the rest is history. I was going to say, could find out. I know Obi's having a good day as well, but into VWAP right there for Amazon. I'm not buying this, but this could be a decent trade. AMD, again, back into it. 20 cents now in the money, back to the downside for AMD. Let's see if that one works. Nike trying to make bottoms, but hanging around at 50. Yeah, hey, Charlie, there it is. Charlie says he's learned. I mean, if you guys want to be part of our chat, you just got to subscribe. It's not a member thing or anything like that. Just subscribe.
Yeah, takes 2 seconds.
Be a subscriber of the show. You learn your lesson. Don't short momentum. Exactly. I mean, honestly, Tesla's at what price? Yeah, okay, that's fine. So Tesla here today, we wanted the long. We hit the long yesterday. Was our P&L number 1 yesterday? And today, I doubled that P&L. So what we made yesterday, we've doubled that today. So again, we went back to the well, almost the same trade. Yesterday, we blasted 250. This one was, again, different trade in the way of executing it. But at the same time, it was a good one. This 260 was the same trade. Blasting through 260, same way it blasted through 250 yesterday. Everyone's talking about Zap. Maybe we'll get to that one after we come back.
Zap.
From Adara at the desk. Boom, pow.
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro paid for itself on day one. That's a real review from a real trader using Benzinga Pro. Thanks to Benzinga Pro's exclusive news alerts, real-time market insights, and community of over 6,000 dedicated traders, it's the fastest way to trade the news. And right now, you can try Benzinga Pro for the lowest price we offer during our July 4th sale. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description box and join Benzinga Pro today.
AMD's in the 50s, by the way. Like AMD, guys, we got to take something out. Holy. Oh, boy, is right, Adara. 70 cents now in the money for this AMD trade. So there it goes, man. It is starting to get like this, Neil, at this point, man. It is starting to get like this. It's now 322. I'll probably, it must be the hat.
Where's the...
Must be the hat. It must be the hat right now, guys. There it goes to the downside. It's AMD, and it is fantastic. There's some shorts off VWAP once, twice, thrice. 3 shorts right there. Boom. To the downside, into that level. That's a good one. Nike as well. Good bounce. We may start to take some out even more as we have we talked about it, less than 5% left on that one. Nike, AMD. Come on, AMD. Can AMD get to the dollar club? Well, it's close, man. It's close right now, but there goes AMD to the downside. I hope this is, I don't know, Adrian, if this is the stock that you wanted me to review, it's pretty simple, man. It's a VWAP short trade, and there it goes to the downside. It's AMD.
Speaking of VWAP,
take more vacations, man.
It's a break. Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
No, I think
the show. Yeah.
I think you do vacations when you need them. Like at the end of the day, it's always good to have a break, but you got to be doing what you love at the end of the day.
hat.
But look, NVIDIA, we say VWAP all the time. It was a long 130.5 into VWAP. It's a short 130, 120 into VWAP. So it goes right back in. We got long into that level. We then shorted it. One price, just get in, one price to that stop. We got 23 as the average price with a stop at 40. So 17 cents plus slippage, call it 20 cents worth of risk. It just popped down 70 cents. We get to that same bottom, jump out of the trade. So risk to reward. If we get VWAP one more time, it's kind of late in the day, but it's still not even 3:30. So you do have some time for there to be a secondary setup here, or like a third setup, because I guess one long, one short, for there to be a third setup here. In NVIDIA, I'm only in Boeing now. Boeing did make that bounce. As we were getting into NVIDIA, Boeing gave you that same re-entry that we had before, which is we're essentially short. We got on the way down, and we got on the way back up here, 184.20. We could have had that reload, but at that moment, we were getting into NVIDIA, which I think was just as good. So not likely to reload this if we get back, because that would be higher lows into a third time at the same top, and running out of time here on Boeing. NVIDIA, I don't know if I want to just go right back into the long when the market's trending into the downside. I think I'll wait for VWAP in here. Just be patient. It could always break out, take out those highs and go rallying late in the day, or we get one more shot to short this name at VWAP. Frank Jones, Lilly is at the high of the day, great. Lilly, not much of a trade until they do a split for me, but any bad news for other GLP drugs has been good news for Eli Lilly, which is kind of the catalyst today. Some concerns over side effects in some of their competitors is usually pretty good for them. And Lilly just keeps going. Every single time it has these like hammer down candles, it's actually been a good buying opportunity in Eli Lilly, and it just did that. I like the name, I love it, but bad news. Sometimes you just go long when there's bad news for any of the other GLPs. I know Hims had a bit of a bad handle on it the other day. Haven't really looked at it to see what's going on, but the stock that a lot of people were just mentioning was this Zap stock. And I feel like it's a curse. We're like, oh, what else is going? We asked the crowd, and then Zap fails the high, pulls back $2, and is right back at the high. So this was, Shreve likes to say bamboozling, but it's been doing bamboozling at this quad top, $15.50. The fact that it's already back up here, late day 16 break, now that I say that, it's probably not going to break 16 until the aftermarket. But Zap, if you just got rinsed on it, the fact that it's already back retesting that high, quadruple top runner, why not? Just needs to make this breakout. Still $1 away, though.
Okay. What, Ramin? Okay. All right.
They were messing with that Zoom last week, too.
Oh, man, yeah, were they?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I used to own this stock, Westwater Resources, WWR.
I know that stock.
Yeah, I used to own this stock. I don't own this stock anymore. That's why I was like, what is going on? Westwater Resources. I know, I just remember it.
Oh, is that the same? No, it can't
Maybe it's not.
It's not what I'm thinking.
I don't know. I don't normally own Amex names, so maybe this is a different one. Okay. I just saw.
No, it's.
Remember, I was trying to buy. This can't be the one. The water name that I bought was bought out, so I don't know what this one is.
No, it's not. It's not
this one. Anyways, okay. I just saw it come through here. Some sort of an update on a conference call. I thought it was a different stock. But, obviously, there was 58,000 shares. We will not trade that. All right, what's Palantir doing? How come we're not out of some of these stocks? Oh, we did get out of Palantir, actually. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's go. Didn't even notice that we got out of Palantir. And again, remember, some of these trades that we have, not very many shares left. So there's the break on Palantir. We should have got out on VWAP break. Remember when we mentioned that? So we gave that up a little bit right there. We did cover our AMD. We only have now, we have a little bit more than 10%, about 12 or so % left on AMD. And we don't just draw these lines or I don't draw them. We don't plot them for no reason. I mean, you get pulled back to the 200 period. I mean, those are out. So wish we would have got out of them all. But again, sometimes you're waiting for that flush. So this could be a good reload spot there. I think we should just wind up trusting VWAP. So if we can get back up 20 more cents or so, we'll do that. Amazon's at VWAP. I see someone talking about that. Let me check in on a stock that I did want to buy more of or get back in, actually. I think I have a very small piece, so I don't consider myself into it that much, and it's DraftKings, and it's right at these levels. Yeah, maybe we'll wait. I feel like the earnings on this is a ways away. Some of these later names report a little bit after. So like the names that are recent IPOs, a lot of them have later dates.
Soon, it's the first.
August 1. Okay, so yeah, so still 3.5 weeks away. Therefore, DKNG, but I think I like this name. I was looking at this level, 34.35, not just this before this bounced. We had talked about this coming back into this level. Did not pull the trigger there, and I'm thinking that might have been a mistake. So let's wait to see here. 34.35 or so here for DraftKings. I kind of like that long. I really like the first mover advantage that they have here with their program, with their app. And DraftKings, again, just like FanDuel here in Canada, DraftKings here as well. Once you're in the ecosystem, kind of like Apple, man, I feel like once you find the app that you use to gamble with, it's almost like crypto if crypto didn't have so many bad players, right? Like if FTX didn't falter, most of us that were trading or using FTX would probably still be there. I mean, it's just like how Coinbase now, knock on, show's ending?
Jinx. And Coinbase
see you.
shut down by the SEC. No, just
but yeah, no, so that's what I was going to say.
No,
so
they're not.
No. Well, obviously, yeah. So as it goes, like maybe now you'd trust more, like, you know, why would I ever take my money out of Coinbase if that's where you're trading, or Binance or something? So I just feel like DraftKings, again, and I gamble, but not to that extent that they're actually making any money off me. Well, they're making a lot of money off me because I always lose, but I don't gamble that much.
So you said you use
It's an addiction. No, I don't use DraftKings. I have FanDuel.
Oh,
but
I was going to
like,
say FanDuel is what most people I know use.
yeah, I think in Canada, FanDuel was here first before DraftKings.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I just think that it's one of those names where you have to kind of buy dips in this name. But so we'll wait to see if valuation matches some of their numbers. This is a story where I'd rather buy it higher and be right than buy it lower and trying to guess where the bottom's going to be there. So we'll see if it can hold this $34 level. But I do like it. And by the way, AMD's falling again. We just talked about possibly reloading that at the 50 period, didn't do it. AMD coming back in again. It's Miss A, it's at the big screen, and the espresso machine is officially closed.
Shame.
Let's take a look at some of these names making some outsized moves to the upside and the downside on the S&P 500 that maybe we haven't discussed as much. We do talk about Oracle here, ORCL. We got that first big drop here around 1 p.m. when the information initially reported that XAI had ended its deal with the company. Then Elon Musk comes on Twitter to confirm that is in fact the case. They're going to be making their chips and their AI servers in-house because they are concerned about making sure they're the fastest, and basically that this speed and the concern for going in-house means they left ORCL out of the server deal further, so they wanted faster servers. ORCL cut out there to the downside. GLW, this is the second time in as many days this one has been up on this screen. Corning yesterday trading higher after raising its sales forecast higher than expectations, now getting price target increases from Argus, Deutsche Bank, and UBS after that news, so still up about 3%. Good two-day streak for Corning. Last but not least, ON. This is on semiconductor. We know KeyBank had its slew of semiconductor price target increases and decreases. On semiconductor, getting a decrease to $85 price target here with an overweight rating from KeyBank, guys.
I just made a mental note. Well, not a mental note. I just wrote down on my iPad to remember to go over the Snowflake chart tomorrow morning because I'm liking every time I pull it up. It's like, I don't know. It's probably not going to make the breakout, but the weekly chart, I'll show you in a quick second. ZAP broke $16, got 16.09 on the break. It just tagged 16.40 for a bit of a scalp trade. It's 3:30. We're into power hour. It's trying to run. It's not like this has any levels out there to work with. So every $0.50 or even dollar that shows any semblance of resistance, as far as I'm concerned, is something. But it's not like if it was like an $18 or something, you know, when you zoom this out, if there was some kind of top it was going into, that would be the target. But it's got to hold the previous high, which is 1590. If it holds 1590 on a dip, we stay in it. If it falls, the last time it failed a high break, right here, it dropped $2. $2 when it failed a high break. So if it fails this one, I'm not letting it drop $2. I'm risking 25 cents on it. But ZAP going to that upside. And what I was sort of getting at with Snowflake and why it's so interesting to me is the weekly chart on Snow. And why is this not? okay, well, whatever. It doesn't matter if I zoom any further out. But if you look at what's happening, look at the bottom on the weekly down in these low 120s. It's absolutely insane. So if it breaks out this consolidation and gets above 145.50 and can hold that, Snow looks like a pretty good swing opportunity. So it's on my radar. I'm not going to be in it in my personal account just yet. I've never owned the stock, candidly. We've traded it before. And actually, we traded on IPO day. But yeah, Snowflake, Snowflake, the weekly chart, it's making a pretty distinct bottom on the weekly that I think I want to take a shot at in my personal account. Take some of the profit from that Tesla 151, which I just got out of that dip buy in Tesla. The swing on Tesla, I still have it in my long term, but I want to put that money back into something, and Snow is looking interesting here. Not yet. Not yet. It's getting close.
I said I would look at that price.
Where did you get? You got in at either way.
No, I have to look. I did get in the first time at around 150 or whatever the price was, and then it dipped into 120s, and I think we got like a 128.
It went to 235 though.
Oh yeah. No. I'm just in recently.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. This is like in the last 4 months.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, off their last report there, it was pretty bad. So, okay. I'm just trying to read the chat, to be honest with you.
Hey, Nathan McD.
I don't know what happened to Financial Juice, dude. I mean, we have nothing to do with them. If they report, no, they don't report. Coffee Trader, what's up, Coffee Trader? I like that name. Just mentioning to us that what happened to the early look from Financial Juice. I don't know. We're not.
You know what? We don't need them.
Yeah, we're not affiliated with them. I mean, you can email them or
we can
tweet at them.
No, but we can look at individual names. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey,
They used to give that post where it was like minus 500 million, and we used to talk about what was expected. So
Snow's a buy, 500,000 early look buy. It's a complete coincidence. We were just talking about it. I don't know what's going to be there or not. Pinterest sell 500,000, Ford 1 million to sell. Who cares? RY, Canadian Bank, so it's probably going to come out of buy in Toronto because that's what they do. But early look individual names, none of the big cap tech names are going to be there yet. Sometimes you'll see something at 350, we'll get it live for you and go over. But shout out to and appreciate you, Mr. Nathan McD for the Super Chat 5-figure day. Just wanted to say hey to you, Nathan McD. Congratulations. Hoping you're having a lot of fun. I know you are having some fun. But as I mentioned in Zap, I'm not letting it run down $2. It was a breakout. It got to the 40 level. We scalped some out. It'll be closer to a flat trade. We try to hold on to that big win, but it doesn't want to go. It's late in the day. It's not early where I think you want to just hold it for that bigger move. If I have a tight stop on an early trade, I'll be mad at myself for one of these runners. An example would be maybe just look at it in the afternoon, like pretend that this is the morning in the afternoon. Like if I get wicked out on a bottom like that, I'll be mad when there's time for it to run. But at the end of the day, when you're taking a long break, that can be that VWAP right quick. And I don't want to get trapped in it. Zap, we'll see what it can do tomorrow, but I'm done with this unless it's going to maybe do a huge dip into VWAP and then one little rubber band style trade here for Zap.
Rubber band man for sure. Yeah, good trade there on Zap as it breaks through that $16 mark. Oh, man. My wife just sent me something funny, and you guys would know this. We talked about McDonald's hacks before and things like that. There was a whole bunch there that she sent an email. And it was that, I mean, she said, this is actually kind of funny. If you get 2 Happy Meals, apparently, 2 Happy Meals totals, here in Canada anyways, or maybe this was from the States, I don't know. 2 Happy Meals is $10.78. And you would get there then
that sounds cheap.
No, I think that's about right. I mean,
US dollars, I guess.
No, I think a Happy Meal, I think around here is like, what, $4.99? What's a Happy Meal? No clue. I asked Jag. I don't know this guy have kids or anything. I'm the one that should know this. My kids don't have Happy Meals no more. But
I should know this.
No, I think they're $3.99 or $4.99, honestly. So I think that's in and around where Happy Meals are at. But the story was this. If you get 2 Happy Meals, it's $10.78. What you'll get there is, of course, 2 small fries. You'll get 8 nuggets. And you'll get 2 drinks, pour them into one another. Maybe it equals a medium. I have no idea. Or you can get 1 6-piece nugget combo, and that totals $12.20. So you get 2 less nuggets. So anyways, it was just funny because someone posted that, hey, you could do this better by simply getting the 2 Happy Meals. You get more food, and it's cheaper.
And a toy.
And 2 toys.
2 toys.
You get the book and the toy, Neil.
I mean,
you can go right to eBay, start selling those.
When you got a bad Achilles, and now I've kind of done something to my elbows, like bursitis in my elbow, I'm probably going to order some dinner as my daughter and wife are off camping. Maybe I'll have a couple of Happy Meals. Bring it. Right. She gets a toy when she comes back on Friday.
That's what I'm saying.
Might be honest. I just looked it up, but like,
oh, and get this today. Shots fired at Tim Hortons, by the way. Today, McDonald's here in Canada announcing new lower coffee prices. It's $1 for small, $1.25 for medium, $1.50, $1.75. The idea here is that Tim Hortons is $1.83 for a medium, and McDonald's and Tim Hortons $1.25.
And I know it's an un-Canadian thing to say, but McDonald's coffee has tasted better than Tim Hortons coffee for years now, as far as I'm concerned.
Nugget one. I need the
nugget one.
6.
Yeah, I thought that was
so $6 in Canada. So the prices would be the same. Like the math would work out.
Would be, yeah.
But they see we are like our crack research team. Oh my God! Right now, let's face slap it out. Not that they're on crack. That doesn't mean they're on crack. It's a saying.
Sometimes you need to research that crack.
Yeah. Get rid of this man's buying power. But there it goes right now. Let's go, man. This is a good one. Into the gates of hell goes Nike as we sit here and have some fun. We got it, man. We got it. There goes Nike, a nice little drip, drop down in for this name into the 40s there. 45 we just touched out on. I might just punch something out here in the 50s if we can. There we go. We get some half prints there, taking some out. So there it is. Nice move to the downside on Nike, just coming down to the downside. You know, when I was in Miami, I think we went, I can't remember what my opinion was on Dunkin' Donuts. The coffee, I'm not sure it was that great.
I'm not a huge fan of their coffee.
Yeah,
I've had it a few times down, especially like when you'll like stop for a coffee when you're going shopping in Buffalo. Why is it a fail that I don't like Dunkin' Donuts?
No, I think she's saying she's a.
Oh, you're saying it's a fail. Okay, I
Dunkin' Donuts Saudi Arabia branch
apparently is not very good. Apparently. Ramin says
apparently in Saudi Arabia it's the greatest
good.
Coffee there.
They actually have Dunkin' Donuts in Saudi Arabia? I don't
know. Do they? They might. Yeah, they might. Why not? Yeah,
oh, they do?
Yeah, they do. When I was in Moscow like 20 years ago, honestly, I was in Moscow, and 20 years ago, it doesn't exist now because in there shut this all down.
Some things have happened.
Yeah, some things have happened. But like I was in their malls. Honestly, it was like Yorkdale, man. There was like Sephora there. Like everything was like, it was like great.
You know what's interesting? In the West Indies,
more than 20 years ago, maybe.
In the West Indies, it's not like the first things that came to West Indies. When I was a kid and we went to Antigua, where my family's from, we went to Antigua and my aunt and uncle were taking us and my cousins out and like, we're going to go for a treat today. I'm like, yo, we're about to get some jerk chicken, some beef patties, like whatever.
That's what I'm talking about.
They took us to Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I remember being like, and my brother and I were like, really? Huh? Like this is like what is
from North America?
No, because it was the first like North American fast food joint to come to the island of Antigua.
It's kind of like showing
KFC.
off.
So it was showing off, and we're like, I just had KFC last week before I came here, and we like every single week.
Yeah, if you're traveling,
all that stuff. I'm like, why am I coming to Antigua and you're taking me to Kentucky Fried Chicken when I could be eating like I want to eat jerk chicken from the side of the road when you make that crap in a barrel. That's what I'm trying to eat when I'm in the West Indies.
Dude, you need flies all over it and everything.
I want that real
gangster
Come in for no Kentucky Fried Chicken. Exactly. I just got out of Boeing. It's double tap to say
You need the real stuff.
But no, I want the real. Will you go to?
The guy needs to be smoking a spliff.
No, but you don't go to.
I have a story about Italy.
No, that's true. But you wouldn't go to Italy so that you can have. You want the real deal.
Wrong. I'll tell you a story. I was going to drop it. So we had so much gelato there from the best places, pure Italian. But you know what? We walked into McDonald's because on the sign it said it had pistachio McFlurries. So we went in there.
Yeah, I'll eat that.
Right. So we went in there and tried a pistachio McFlurry, and that was great. Right. So right there in Piazza Navona, if those of you that are from Rome, you would know that location. The McDonald's is right there, and it's a gorgeous McDonald's, by the way.
But I think that's eating, like McDonald's has a lot of like local stuff. Like you go to the East Coast, you can get the lobster. Like I'll do that. Like when I'm in Halifax, you can get better seafood than eating McDonald's, but the fact that you can't get the lobster sandwich anywhere else, like I'll always have one when I get down there.
Look at Intel, by the way.
But by the way, Intel's gone. That Zap, I got out, but Zap's at $17, so good luck. If you're holding that long, it's still going to the upside. Wow.
A.
Keep an eye on Chewy here, CHWY. Not seeing any news on this, but we just got, we're getting our highest volume candles by far on the day here as this one pushes higher. So keep an eye on CHWY. Keep in mind, we did have some movement here from some of these other heavily shorted or meme-associated names earlier today, including Longeveron and KOSS. So CHWY, if I see any news here, I'll let you guys know.
Brain Kitty tweeted something.
Yeah, Rome turned my daughter back from vegetarian over to the good side again. Like once we went there and she's seen the prosciutto and everything like that. I mean the thing is now we're pistachio crazy as well in my family.
I love pistachios.
Ever since going there, everything is so damn good.
I can eat
the gelato, the lemon, the lime. It's oh man.
Don't do it to me. So
when you guys go, well, you're not going this year, are you now?
Yes, it's November.
Oh, it's November.
I have
Okay,
one goal for my recovery. Like it doesn't matter when all these things happen. I just want to be walking so we can go to Rome in November. Because I'll be if we lose that trip and it's my fault. Like my friend will go camping without me. I'm like I make sure Aaron gets that trip. But we're probably if I'm not recovered, we're probably not going to go to Rome. Is what it is.
You recover by November, dude. It's July.
That's about how I can walk. Like,
yeah. You do.
Again,
it's a walking city. Obviously.
If I get a surgery, there's no guarantees as to how quickly you recover from it. I think I'll be fine, but I'm gonna be pissed off if I don't get to go to Rome in November because
I'm cutting my London trip short because I got to coach these girls. We got to turn.
Yeah, I was saying because you're only there for 5 days.
Yeah, we're only there for 5 days. I was like, you know what, whatever. I'll go back.
It's all good.
At some point.
Yo, Chewy is really, maybe there is something real here. It's still going.
I don't know.
I don't think it's roaring.
How's Bailey Zapp doing? Okay, so we're going to continue.
They released him.
They did finally? Okay, he was a pretty good.
I thought they released him last year.
Bailey Zappi there, your New England quarterback. All right, Nike's 50 cents, Intel, we already hit that. The sticky note today was just so fire, man. I mean, Intel right there, the Palantir trade was great for us. We don't actually have Apple on it, which is a little bit of a surprise to me that we did not look at Apple early. Yeah, I still got the stupid pen in my head. I'm going to keep this here until we have a losing trade. And so far, so good. So we are waiting to get out of Apple. That's what I want to talk about. It is barcoding. And you know what? I'm trying to think about what yesterday was. The imbalances have been like tricky, man. They've had some pretty dramatic moves off of imbalances.
Were there any individual names yesterday?
So we're what was that?
Any individual big names yesterday on the imbalances?
Yeah, I mean, we could just look at the closes to see what actually was happening. I mean, Apple there let's zoom in here. Let's see, what was the Apple imbalance? I mean, that's really what I'm worried about here, is what kind of imbalance is coming for Apple. So into yesterday's close, it looks like it might have been a buy. So there's 350, so that was good. People may be looking to trade some NVIDIA. I know that had an imbalance yesterday as well, so we can have another quick look to see what NVIDIA's imbalance was. I think we were in that yesterday as well. Yeah, so this one looks like it was the opposite. It was a sell imbalance there. So this is part of what we're talking about. You guys asked about market on close or open imbalances, and I mean, Neil just already showed it. These are all going to be sorted by size, but there it is. But these are all broker. We only have New York names. NASDAQ names, see, this is not an active symbol. These names will update at 350. So then you're going to get dramatic moves one way or the other in many of these names. So just be careful with trading off the imbalances. And that's why we're really light on all of these positions. We already have that stop on Intel. What if this comes a buy? Great, we'll like that. The stop on Intel is at 70s. So if we get a break of 70, we'll get out of that one. The stop on Apple I actually don't have. Right now it is a very, very light position. We're $1.50 in the money. I don't want the stop to run here. Let's run 228. So 227.98. If it runs it, it runs it. We'll get out of that one. And that's it. So Apple, AMD was the other one. Yuck, AMD just ran all the way back up. Okay, well, our stop is already here. All right, so we're pretty comfortable now with only 2.5 minutes left. Join me and Adara and Brian Shannon. Anything for me to tweet out for that on Brian Shannon? Not yet. Okay, so join us tonight as we'll go over it. No earnings. Earnings start basically on
next
Friday.
Week. Yeah,
Friday morning with the banks, but we won't.
You get the banks, and then lots of other names next week. But yeah, do not sleep on the banks. They have been not all of them. J.P. Morgan City.
Well, most of them are there.
No, I chuckle because Canadian banks have not. The ones the one I have has been kind of ugly. So I chuckle because I own TD Bank, CIBC, when RBC has been the best one here in Canada. But they're going to be big. I think some continuation is going to be explosive. With 2 minutes to go, I'm out of Boeing. I'm not in any positions, but the one I'm going to be looking at the imbalance is going to be NVIDIA, just because you've got that VWAP in there. If it does come out a gigantic sell, if it is, let's just say like a few million shares, like over 3 million would do it, and you can short it off of, or even adjacent to VWAP, I'd try that trade if it's a sell imbalance. If it's a buy imbalance, probably a nothing burger for me. Nvidia might be up 2%, but last trade was working the short and it's putting in lower highs. So with 1 minute to go, I will be looking at that. And Ari Pages, can you briefly tell us why there's a 350 and a 355? So no, 350 is when the imbalances get released. These are early looks. At 350, you actually see the live imbalance. 355 is typically just a major update. It's constantly updating in real time what the imbalances are. You'll see that when we pull them up or when they actually start going here at 350. But at 355, you get a major update where a lot of the paired volume happens. It's just a significant time where orders get put into the auction, which will sometimes pair off a big imbalance. So if something comes out, let's say NVIDIA comes out 5 million to sell and we like to short, at 355, I'm anticipating it gets cut in half. And if something grows from 350 and after 355 it's bigger, then I like it even more. So it's just a major pairing event. The imbalances only drop at 350 in the NASDAQ in the New York and the NYSE ARCA. That's what we call it. I always say Amex, but it's not really the Amex anymore.
All right. Okay, I'm going to just get that ready to go because we do now have only 10 seconds until it goes. So I'll activate it for live ones. And here we go. So this is going to update very, very soon, and we will have a trade plan or something. We have our orders ready to go, and there it is. It is now executed. NVIDIA is a buy right there, so AMD is probably going to be a buy as well. All right, so we did get stopped out of AMD, a positive name for us there today as that's out. Apple, not doing much. I don't really see Apple on here. I feel like we should take advantage of this and get out of Apple before it rips to the downside. There it is. We'll cover our Apple trade. That's $1.50, so we'll go yes on that one. Nike, we are basically one piece left. One Piece. We talked about that yesterday. We saw the next episode of One Piece. I like. Good show.
Yeah, I didn't recognize that was a show when someone was talking about it.
Yeah, it's an anime thing that my kid loves, so we're watching that, but it's a real life action something. All right, so Royal Bank. We talking about U.S. Canadian banks interlisted right there. RY coming in. Yeah, other than that, not too many big shares there. You can see. Watch out for Pfizer, 27 and change. Could be a good buy right there. We'll have to trade it only when Josh Brown says he's long, so that he can get out on the way up. Nvidia there, nice move as well for NVDA, right back into VWAP. So yeah. Great trading today. We will finish today at our highest spot. And Nike right now, 40 cents in the money and dancing around. And then Intel, our break is through 70, so we may get stopped out of Intel right now. But needless to say, a decent trade right here. Thank you so much for watching today. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. And guess what? We're back tomorrow.
Always. So NVIDIA being a buy, not a sell. Yeah, we were looking for like a VWAP retracement if it came out of sell imbalance. It's at VWAP on that buy imbalance, but no trade there. I don't want to go against the grain of the imbalance here on NVIDIA, so it doesn't look like there's going to be a trade for me in that final 10 minutes of the day. Frank Jones, Meta, steep dive. I didn't see Meta on here, but just because it's not on the imbalance locator, it doesn't mean it can't move. And Meta continues its trend down. Looks like it was maybe just a technical break, or maybe even a small imbalance and it lost the low of the day. But Meta's only down 0.15%. You got to remember the stop was gapping up, and it could just be after the monster break a couple of days ago. It's pulling back into previous resistance. So you always take a lot higher time frame look at this. If it just simply holds here at around 530 and consolidates, that would be pretty standard for a big move up. Consolidate after pull. It just did this at 515. Pull back, kind of held for a couple days, looked like it was falling back in, then ram shot once again. So let this one calm down a bit here on Meta. Yeah, not even through yesterday's bottoms, but a bit of a bottom break there. No imbalance on it. Nvidia is a 1.7 to the buy side, but it's not really moving all that much. And it's already paired off to 1.4. But the other thing to look at, Nvidia's 1.4 buy imbalance, the paired volume is 9 million shares. So really, it's just a small fraction of the overall paired volume. It'd be much better or more interesting if that was a 1.3 million to buy and there was less than that paired off, because that would mean the majority of the shares are unaccounted for. But in this case, clearly they're finding enough liquidity to be able to pair this off, which means it could be a nothing burger. That's all.
Yes, we are now flat for the day. Yeah, we got out of everything. Maybe we shouldn't have. I mean, I don't know. Apple still starting to go to the upside here a little bit as we covered that trade. This is where we wanted to get out, 228.65. We got out at 45s there, I think it was, 50, 51s. Nike, we got out there at 50s. It's now 47, but still decent trades. And then AMD blasted to the top side where we wind up getting out of that one. Again, AMD and Intel, good trades there. We actually wind up making pretty much the same amount of money on those two trades, believe it or not. Intel and AMD. It looks like the AMD trade, the Intel trade, we should have made a lot more money. But the problem is we were so nervous here that this was an average in. So we were just kind of like so happy to get back, and then being able to hold a little piece put us over the top. But Intel, not a huge name today because we started there and then got out, thinking that it was going to be weak. But we did try that bottom pick, and that did work out for us there. So that was that trade. Palantir will end the day at 27.50. We able to get out good on this one as well. Again, one of my top names, and just because it blasted early, and we changed our opinion on this one. It was 28.25. We went 28.10 on Palantir long instead of 28.25. And that was because we saw these, I don't know where was the top? Oh, it's just right into here. Yeah, that's 28.08. So right there, we waited for 28.10s to break, and that's where we got long.
Boom.
It's because it's because we got filled on 13s. That's why it looks like it's a little bit of a bad price there. But yeah, boom goes the dynamite there on Palantir.
I said boom like an 808. You said, because you said 08, right?
Oh, yeah, that was the top.
What's the name of that group?
I don't know.
There's a song, Boom Like an 808. I wasn't just doing it randomly. Whatever is happening on Chewy is still happening here. As I thought on nothing, you probably just get a pullback. It's like a late day squeeze with nothing going on. But Chewy just tested the high of the day again, so it's only up 1 point. But the story is that it just ran $1 after consolidating off 24. Maybe it's just technical. Sometimes you look at that flush after all that hype and roaring kitty and whatever in that tweet, and then it comes in, holds a previous high, just goes sideways for a couple of days, and it's just collecting support at that 24 level, and then you get a bit of a technical breakout, people start chasing it. But yeah, get through 25 half, get through 26 half. Those will be the places to look at tomorrow. If it's not breaking those, shorts don't care. If you actually, you know what, 26 and a half, if it's not breaking that, then anybody that shorted it is like, we're still fine. What are we talking about? If you shorted the roaring kitty news, you shorted it in the 30s. On Chewy. So the fact that it's at $25 is great for anybody that got long 35 minutes ago. But the shorts are still largely in control. NVIDIA, that buy imbalance did get paired off a bit here, so you are seeing it pull back in, but it was a buy imbalance. I don't even see it anymore, so it's clearly well under 1 million shares. So from a buy to pairing off at 355, if it had been a sell, we would have gone for the short off of VWAP, which is the only NVIDIA trade we had in the afternoon. Well, we had a long into it, then a short off of it at VWAP. But NVIDIA, yeah, a bit of a dump there. That was simply, I think, at 355. That small buy imbalance did get paired off, and that's the reaction that you will see in the stock. Good move for that Zap. It got to $19, now pulling back into 18. I'll be curious to see what, Microsoft just did a bit of a move. Yeah, well, Microsoft just made it. Microsoft was dying all day long.
Softy, huh?
This is kind of random. At 355, it just bounces $1.50. I just noticed that's the biggest candle of the afternoon for Softy. I didn't see an imbalance, but whatever it was, it probably flipped to a buy or paired off. Softy had a bad day today. But much like Meta, how bad is it really? It ain't that bad. I mean, it's just every single time it's done this for a couple of days, what have you been best at doing? Going into the long. 3 days in a row down, buy it. 3 days in a row down, buy it. Works every time, until it doesn't.
Yeah, the biggest economic catalyst of the day, of course, was Jerome Powell testifying there in front of the Senate Banking Committee, and that sort of sent some of these bank names to the moon here as, 208 now for JP Morgan. We talked a little bit about some of these plays, so hopefully you guys are in some of them. Nice move, and you could tell sort of where it started to get going right there, breaking through 206. So we'll watch out for that. The big name Citigroup today up 3% as that name continues to go higher as well. And you can see in and around just started going basically all day. So Jerome to the rescue. We'll see what Berkshire's Wells Fargo is up to today as well, up 1.5%. Some of the banks in the States, as we've talked about, really performing quite well. Wells Fargo not at their high. So that could be something to watch out for as we do approach earnings season starting this week. So we'll get all those and we'll talk more about that. What day is it? Only Tuesday, so we got a couple more days to go to look at some bank stocks. But I think for tomorrow, watch out for sticky note talk on banks. I don't want to forget about that. It's a nice move today. Got to trade strength back and forth again. And banks today pretty strong. Tesla will be on my radar tomorrow as well as my number one stock yesterday. We doubled that net on this stock today. So we won't trade more like frivolously. We'll do the exact same thing. We'll use the same share sizes. We'll hit the levels that we like, and we'll see about Tesla tomorrow. I just want to let everybody know that, like, you know, we've traded this name. That's now twice, back-to-back days. We didn't even get involved until after 10 o'clock. And it turned out being my best trade. So I think it was Frank Jones and some of you said that, like, you know, being patient and having that ability is what's really turned everything around. And that's definitely the case for me with only a minute left. More patient, waiting for the best setups and trying to take advantage of those when we see them. And we did that today with many of the names that you're seeing there. Palantir with a nice pullback. We'll look for that one. Boeing. With now only 45 seconds to go, I'll get up and go over to the desk and we'll get ready for the recap show. So yeah, man, almost done here. Good day so far, and it's about to come to an end.
Yeah, and 30 seconds to go. Boeing really dumped at the close. So it made it frustrating. It's not that bad compared to yesterday, but it did break the low, 1.5% down. I mean, this is just when this stock gets the resistance, short it. So the next time it rejects 190, you probably take a shot at it. I want it to break out so badly above the 200 period, but if it doesn't go, it doesn't go, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So down goes Boeing, but 4, 3, you gotta ring it in 3, 2, and 1. It's a little bit off there. Go now.
And that's all she wrote. I gotta go.
Yeah, we'll let you get to the desk there, Sean, but the market is closed. It was a nasty, nasty day overall for a couple of individual names. We talked about Boeing, we talked about Microsoft, but the market's flat today. You're actually up on the NASDAQ 0.08%, on the ES 0.012%, so both those end up to the upside. It's just individual names looking bad. Microsoft, I'd say pretty nasty. But just a standard garden variety pullback on the daily chart. Meta actually closes green despite trending into the downside most of the day. And Nvidia, which we were tracking, it ends up 2.5%. So we talk about these stocks like it was kind of trend down for most of the day. And you might have thought it was weak, but Nvidia 2.5% to the upside. A good one in there for Apple. Apple holding flat. I like a stock that can hold flat and consolidate when it gets to fresh highs. Like if it's not going to go down, if it's not going to go up, anymore, nice consolidation on volume off the top is never a bad thing. It just means accumulation as people are comfortable with that price. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's always going to be a new day. That's pretty much how it works. Big shout out to Feynman and Ramin on the 1s and 2s, as always, doing a fantastic job for us. Midday, kicking butt. With a little bit of Elliott wave theory, Sharif and Adara always doing a great job with the midday. But you know what time it is. We got the market recap show, go over some trades, and talk to special guest, Mr. Shannon, giving you some swing ideas, those longs recently, especially that Tesla one looking fantastic. So good luck in any trades he does. Always fun to talk to Mr. Shannon. So enjoy it, Sean. Go get him. It's your market recap show about now.
Monsieur Shannon coming today. Yeah, hey guys, how's it going? Hey Adara, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Take off my hat. It's a good luck trading hat.
Pardon?
Good luck trading hat.
I like it.
Yeah. All right, hey, what a good day today again. As most of the major markets wound up heading into the close, we could check out the the Qs, up 0.07 right now. That is the NASDAQ. Nice little move to the upside as we approach $500 for that name. It doesn't really matter. Just looking at the percentages, the SPY today as well, up 0.1 as they continue to go. I did have a problem getting all of my layouts loaded over here as I had to run over here right at the end. We wanted to make sure that we watched some of those closes happening into the close there today. But again, spiders, new highs, Adara, one more time.
Why not?
Back to the, why not? Back up there to the upside, still working. We talked about uranium yesterday with Michael Noss. That's up 1%. Hey, those banks today, Jerome Powell comes through. The Senate Banking Committee testifies in front of them, talks about how the banks are well capitalized and not much to worry about right there. I like the yellow.
I do. I like it as well.
Kind of, you got the nice little
you
light.
have the pastels.
Yeah.
You have the Easter colors.
All right. Oh, yeah, Easter. Happy Easter to everybody.
Happy Easter in July to everyone.
Belated. Right there. Testimony in front of the Senate Banking Committee, where Powell noted that the labor market is going in the right direction, but housing continues to be a struggle. So the KRE, nice upside move there. You could see little bit of a break to the downside might be happening right there as we line up these levels. Watch for $50 break higher on KRE. XLF is the major bank ETF, and you could see them up today 0.75%, almost 1 full percent up today on XLF. But carrying the day was Citigroup. We can talk about that as much as we want, but it's a nice move up, a little short float of 1.65%. Not much. Earnings per share, 1.58. I mean, all the banks are really working. Look at the cash on hand, $44 billion for these guys' earnings date, July the 12th. Well, that's Friday, right? July 12th, yeah, Friday morning, we'll see if JP Morgan and Citigroup and the rest of them. Is JP Morgan 12th as well? Yeah, they all report at the same time. JP Morgan up today as well. We had some smaller cap runners, but Jumia has been going for a minute, as you know. Good volume today on this name, but a nice move up on JMIA, small cap runner, as well as SNGX going down. Oh, sorry, upside today, up 260%. When you look at this chart, you think downside, but again, a nice move up for them as well. Little bit of a look here at the heat map. There's not much happening as far as earnings today at all, right?
No, nothing like major or anything, like little baby names, yeah.
I ask you this every single day. Stock you trade the most today, was it Tesla?
It was Tesla.
Good.
It was my Cybertruck. Though I had some good trades in IWM, I should have held it long for way longer than I did. I got out around VWAP, only took like 30 pennies. But yeah, the Tesla was really what I'm doing. I've really been working on scalping Tesla to get a better sense of the book. I feel like today was a really good day for me. I ended up green on the day, and I'm excited to keep working at that because I think I found a style that works for me, which is book scalps.
I did it. I brought over the right screen. Great. Who wants to look at some crypto? Why don't we do some crypto? We'll look at some other names in a minute, but can we zoom in on this a little bit? Yes, we can. Right there. There's Bitcoin. Let's have a quick little look at some of these names to see what moved around today. Bitcoin 57. Are we frozen there? 57, there it is. 57.8, almost 58. So that's a nice move up, 2.6%. Ethereum kind of dancing around today, can't really get going, still at $3,070 right there. Tether, these are just sorted by market cap, or no, not even. I don't even know what these are sorted by. Binance right there, yeah, probably volume as well. This is the cap. Binance right there, 517. Solana up today again. These are the percentages up today, 3%. 2%. What was a standout for us today? Cardano, I didn't know that, but that's a nice move. Only 3.7%. Whatever, man. This thing was up to 65 cents as well. But the laggers in crypto, Dogecoin and Tether. Tether zero, so we don't expect Tether to move. So that was a good play right there. Looking at the market, we asked Adara what she traded today. There's Tesla. And I do want to go over Tesla because, guys, Tesla was a monster trade for me today. We made the most amount on Tesla, maybe that we've ever made on that name, besides some of the imbalance trades that we've taken on that. So I'm just logging in to show you my trades. But if you're going to look at the other Mag 7 names, Nvidia up 2.5. Apple today, little sluggish, but still up 0.38, beating the market, Adara. But it was Microsoft at the end of the day that started to go to the downside. You want to find if we have any stories on Microsoft?
I just looked. I didn't find anything.
All right, then what's up with Oracle then? I'm going to ask you, because Oracle today.
Oh, Oracle, I know.
Okay, what was it?
Oracle, sorry for cutting you off there.
Oh, you did.
So we had first the information reported around 1 p.m. That's when it first fell, when the information reported that Oracle is no longer working with XAI for its servers. Then about a half hour later, Elon confirms that yes, that is in fact the case. They wanted more powerful servers. Basically, you know Elon Musk is trying to get XAI and its new Grok 2 out ahead of OpenAI. He said that explicitly in his notes, saying that it's something against Oracle. He just wants them to work in-house. So ORCL getting cut off by XAI.
Yeah, so thanks, Adara. That's a great call there and a great look, because yeah, once you get the sort of that story changing on some of these names, you got to sort of think about potentially getting out or legging out of some of the trades. And I actually will talk to Brian maybe about Tesla, because I know that he's been talking about that. And,
yes.
And we've been looking at Tesla for a minute as well. And I know Neil mentioned it. Here's Oracle, first of all, before I go to Tesla. Look at this. I'm going to ask Brian about this. I'm just loading up the chat right now for everybody. So I'll pop this out and we'll see if there's any questions. If you do have any questions specifically for Brian Shannon, let's get ready to rock and roll. My best trades today are on VWAP off Tesla. So we're going to ask him all about that. But okay, so there's Oracle, nice top at 145. Let's see if it breaks below. If you're going to plant an anchored VWAP on somewhere, this is where we kind of need to look at what we're going to do. Sometimes you look from the lows and see like where people are caught. I kind of like it from this sort of gap level there. So if we go from this gap fill spot, Oracle right there, landing spot, possibly 125, very similar to the 50 period. I'm going to ask Brian what his opinion is there on Oracle, a name that we've been buying down, that we bought down here at 100. Nice move up to 140. But before we go on, I want to talk a little bit about Tesla. I mean, this move, Adara, this was 186 back on June the 26th. So that is, let's call it 15 trading days, maybe less than that. Yeah, close, maybe 10 trading days. We've just moved up $80. So it's a huge move up. It's about 35, 40% in the last 2 weeks on Tesla, let alone from the bottom. I was talking to Matteo in the back. It's up virtually 100% from this bottom. So 140 times 2 is 280. If we can get to that level, that's where you're headed, right? That would be a double up since the end of, or beginning of May, basically. But you are definitely cherry picking when you're using these bottoms. I feel like the real longs are in here somewhere. You know, I know Neil talked about picking the bottom there at, he said he went long at 150. Like, that's a great trade. I know that I was bottom in here, 174. So I do want to tell everybody that during lunch, I did back away and got some out here in and around 264. So that was a pretty good out for me on Tesla. And I feel like that makes sense. You're so extended off the 200 period there. And really on what news? I know they had better deliveries. We're still waiting for that robo-taxi announcement. I think that's coming in August. 8th. There we go. So August 8th, we'll get the robo-taxi talk coming through. And look, for me, the big worry on robo-taxi is really very simple. What if it disappoints? What if it gives a time frame extended? I think it was 2026 he was hoping to have them around. So we're going to get more and more on that. I just think the risk on this takes some off. Now, I took out less than 10%. I still want to be in this for the long haul, but I think that you don't make money until you actually cover some of your positions. So again, we do have that chat out right now, and I do want to thank everybody for joining us and staying tuned. Over 2,400 still watching Adara, which is very, very nice to see. We did have some nice moves back in FXI. Now, you and I were talking about this for a very, very long time. We love the FXI. This is the large cap China ETF. What a run that went on, man. I mean, it had days where $23 all the way to 30 on a straight move up. And as Alibaba's come back in, so has FXI. But I think Alibaba still has more. Wow. We wrote this one down on our sticky note at 73.50 today. I feel like we actually did pretty good trying to catch some of that, but it didn't get that low. We wrote down 73.50 in the pre-market Adara. It was $74. But wow, we were right on the direction, but not right on the price. And that's where I feel like for a lot of us traders, especially when you're day trading, and you know this now that you're going live and that you're putting real money out, you're never going to be exact on your positions, right? I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like you want to be area longs, you know, and that for Alibaba, we waited for a dip buy, but it didn't come through. We should have taken 74 long. And I'll show you the trade right here, Adara. Yeah. It's this pushback into the 50 period. So I'm okay missing this. But when it retraces back down, at that point, we should have gone long at 74. We knew we had this bottom at 73.90. We're going to try to do better on that tomorrow. But I still like Alibaba for the long haul. I really like the chart. Again, bounced off this 73 area. Let's see if we get back going. Like to see it break through 77. When's earnings? August 8th. So a month today. What did it say? The 9th?
The same as the Tesla.
Oh my God, that's going to be a big day.
Yeah.
What was red today? Anything catch your eye? Eli Lilly was up. Oil was down today. Did we have an energy story today? I know that we talked about here, again, summer gas is now already priced in. It is a much warmer summer, I feel like, around here, especially with the humidity. I don't know that to be 100% true, but as more and more, I was going to say more and more traders, as more and more consumers begin traveling, I feel like the price of oil could battle back a little bit. But today, if we're going to look at USO, it was down almost 1% after making some nice highs. Their oil just trying to pull back. We did have some talk the other day about gold trying to catch a bid again up to 218, 220. Looks like that wants to possibly break out again for gold. So we'll have to watch out for that. Good call there. I'm seeing what was really red in here, and I don't have the thing over here. Marijuana names.
Yeah. There was a catalyst with that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talk there. They thought that if Joe Biden continues to sort of show that he's sick all the time, then maybe Kamala would have to come in. And I know that she had a little bit more of a positive stance on marijuana. I thought maybe that's turning the tides here because MSOS to the downside.
Well, there's actually a report here that the GOP Congressional Committee apparently approved a bill to block marijuana rescheduling while rejecting state cannabis protections amendments. So basically, not a great sign if we're both blocking the protections of state-level cannabis and then also approving a bill to block the rescheduling of marijuana. So that's 2 for 2 blows there. Pun maybe intended on that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like the puns. That is for sure. I'm just going to log into my Twitter account to get going here to show you guys some of these sticky note trades that we did have today. But the Qs are pretty small there. UNG, XLE is what I own, and this is getting to be nasty as well as we're just touching the 200 period. If you like oil, maybe you like XLE again. This is the Select Sector Fund, big holdings, Valero, things like that. So watch out for the XLE. Really pulling back, man. Not trading the same as oil as some of the companies coming off here. XOM, look at this, well off its highs as well, hitting near the 200 period. Some of these names, man, just continue to get hit back to the downside. Again, with rates remain, so oil plays, like some of these just trade at like 6 times. They're not huge stocks as far as their valuations. But the thing is, Adara, if we're going to get rates pushed out again, the rate cuts pushed out, it makes the dividend on some of these names like Chevron, like XOM, not Occidental. Occidental is going to be a different name. They don't have a huge dividend. Some of these names that pay out, again, dividend not looking as attractive if you could simply get the same kind of yield parking your money in a T-bill or something like that. So, can you just, here we go, something and find out. You're moving to Canada if Kamala wins. So, okay, good luck with that one. I know that our immigration is not super tight here, but yeah, a little too expensive as I hear. I think it's expensive everywhere. Somewhere this weekend said to me, they go, Sean, it's getting to be real expensive living in Canada. And I said, I've never lived anywhere else.
Me neither.
I don't know. I feel like expensive everywhere these days. That's what I was sort of getting at. Because you play in the sandbox that you're sort of dropped in. You know, it's like, I do feel that times are different. Like, I'm the son of an immigrant as well. My dad came here when he was 2 years old from Italy. And I feel like the times now, even though we have, record low unemployment rates and all that stuff, I don't know. I know some people looking for good work. It's hard to find good work. You can find work now.
I agree, yeah.
But right now, to find jobs that are higher paying, especially to be able to pay the bills out there with what we're talking about with housing prices and food prices and all that stuff, very tough to get started now, I feel like, in the country of Canada. Maybe different in the U.S., but prices are definitely higher up right now. You kind of got to have some of that cash, ready to go for that. So, all right, I'm having a hard time logging into Twitter here, so we won't do that. I don't want to get my account resetted by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't have my earpiece in. Are we ready? We are ready. Brian's been ready for a minute. I sort of babbled on there. My bad, Brian, but it's Trader Talk. It's Mr. Shannon, and he is one of my favorites, and I know it's one of the favorites of our viewers as well. Brian, how are you doing on this fine and really warm here day in Toronto?
Yeah, things are heating up, Sean. This market's certainly red hot too, right?
What is going on these days, man? The market just keeps on ticking higher and higher. I mean, you and I were on this show many moons ago, every week practically. The NASDAQ, we were like, oh my God, maybe it's time to fade this thing. I don't think so. We're still making new highs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We did have a little bit of a red day there yesterday, but another positive day here today for the NASDAQ. We keep on going. Does it look like this is something that can continue to work, Brian? Or I took some money off on Tesla today. Some of these stocks seem to be getting overextended. What do you think about the overall market? Qs or spiders? Choice is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I have this the SPY up right now, so we can talk about that. This is why, Sean, I never do price targets. Whenever I get long a stock, my target is higher, and then I manage risk. Because let's say I put my price target at 525, and I decided to sell at 525 and sit on the sidelines. Then what? Well, you miss another 30 points to the upside, or if your price target was 535. Instead, we listen to the message of the market, and that's especially true for traders and in individual stocks. I can say my price target is whatever, that sounds good and gets a lot of clicks, but our job is simple. It's manage risk, and we still have, we've got the rising 20-day moving average. That's just a basic trend following for, for pretty short term. But look at how well this whole rally has been contained by that 20-day moving average. It closed below it once right there, but the direction of that 20-day moving average is higher. The direction of the 50-day, the 200-day moving average. I'm not looking to fade this thing, maybe for a day trade here and there if we're below the daily VWAP, but even there, I think you're better off with individual stocks. And the path of least resistance is higher. The trend's your friend. Whatever phrase you want to say, it's all true. That just know where your stop is.
I mean, you really, really have to. You know, New Scale Power Corporation. We had it's SMR is the symbol. We had Brian. We had Michael Noss on yesterday, and he had mentioned something that was real cool. And I actually wanted to ask you about this. And just to see what your studies are. I have your book over here as well. But he dropped an anchor because I was like, how are you long this name on SMR? And he said, you know what, it was quite simple. And he actually dropped your name and he said, I was talking with Brian. Let me throw this up to a weekly chart here. Might look a little bit better. And I was like, how are you guys long down in here, $5 to $6? And he said, you know what? This is actually a strategy that he likes. Drop the anchor at IPO price. Then, when you start to bounce around it, get some support, find your levels. You know you like this breakout. Watch out for anchored VWAP break off of a key level. So he was looking at 5. He looks like he had some support here. Play that long, and now it's a double. So to your point as well, Brian, why? Like if you had a target of $10 for this, then you wouldn't still be in it up to $12. So I just wanted to say, like, you know, the anchor VWAP seems to be something that's definitely picking up steam around. And now you see another example right here off of the weekly chart. Again, anchored VWAP into IPOs. So is that something that you're looking at when you're looking for trades? He did mention maybe potentially you are in this SMR. Are you out of it? Or is this a trade that you like to look at, anchored VWAPs from IPO prices?
There's a chapter in the book about it, Sean, as you're well aware. SMR was a tricky one for me. I was involved down near that $7 level. I made a little bit of money with it, but I didn't trust it. It's got that, I like to call it the SPAC stink. It was a SPAC, and I just don't trust the SPACs typically. This did get caught up in the small nuclear what are they, reactor or power plants, I guess. NNE is another one, nano nuclear. And then Sam Altman's one, which hadn't done as well, is that OKLO. But, the concepts, the principles are the same. And even here on SMR, you look at that daily chart, same story. Look at how it's been hugging this rising 20-day moving average. As long as it's making higher highs and higher lows, even for somebody who's held down in here, why sell it? Why not wait till it does something like this and breaks a lower low? And, the problem with price targets is everyone wants to get out at the peak. Nobody's going to get out at the peak with any consistency. You've got to realize you're going to give some back. But if you trade around a core position, and that's what I've been doing with that TGTX, which has started to heat up again, and I'm starting to, scale out of that one once again because it's been running here the last week and a half, been a beautiful run in here, and now it's getting a little bit extended, but there's a big short position, so I'm holding on to a core. And my target, I can look at this, for instance, and say it was there before. That's a level of interest. If it gets up there quickly, I'd probably feed some out. But it's not my price target. It's a level it can go. And those price targets allow us to kind of, develop our risk reward, our theoretical risk reward. We can say, hey, if it's, breaks below this high or low, I'll get out. What's my price target? Well, you've got to justify your trade somehow and say, well, if it gets up towards that 2250, that looks reasonable. So, it's just a matter of what we're comfortable with and how we frame it in terms of risk reward, but making sure that our analysis is reasonable and not being a buyer when it's just run from 17 to 20, but instead buy at 18, 18 and a quarter as it starts to get rallying once again. So I kind of went a little off tangent there, I think, Sean, but you can pull me back around.
No, you did really, really well there, Brian. And honestly, I was just thinking to myself, it's all about risk management. And I was looking, we talked about that over and over again. You see, I'm looking here at page 181, IPO trades with the anchored VWAP, chapter objectives, how anchored VWAP adds objective structure to IPOs, how to use it in the first minute of trades to years later. Brian, there it is. I knew it was a chapter in there. I'm just trying to promote the book.
Ah, you're setting me up. I get it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No
Set me
problem.
up or setting the audience up. I don't know.
No problem, no problem. Yeah, pick that up, man. At Alpha Trends, go find them. I tagged you actually today, and I actually wanted to show you
I
a
saw
trade.
that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, actually, thank you. I did actually want to show Tesla right now because now that I have you on, I want to talk a little bit about the trades that I made today. Look at all of these, man, today, Brian. We had this move to the upside. When we have an upside move and I miss it, I wait for the gap and the pullback into VWAP, and I learned that from you. There it is, a nice little pullback into VWAP, coinciding with the 50-period moving average, which I really like. That instantly pulled right back into VWAP 254. That outright due is 257 in a matter of minutes. That's 10 minutes. And then, Brian, guess what? We got greedy again. Here, I'll do this one. The calculation's going through my head, but you don't need to do much calculation because it comes right into VWAP. First, I tried the 50-period, then the VWAP, and then the explosion to the upside. And guess what? There's a 200-period reload as well.
Beautiful.
But today, Tesla, bang, bang, bang. Bang, we nailed that today. This trade was a 260 break with momentum. So we always talk about having different tools in your toolbox. So I look to, again, play pullbacks into VWAP. And I think that one of the more important things that you've mentioned to me and to our viewers is you use, and it's all over your book as well, wait for stocks to get in or out of the penalty box, use VWAP for certain levels to look at, levels of interest, play off them. But again, do your own research and manage risk. Brian, I'm going to throw over to Adara, who has a question from the audience.
Okay.
Hi,
Great
Brian.
job on the Tesla, by the way, Sean. Sorry, Adara.
Hi, hope you had a great day. Thank you so much for being with us. I know on your Twitter you were mentioning NVIDIA being an uptrend of the daily chart. There's another semiconductor, though, we had a question about from John Szymanski in the chat, wondering what your thoughts are on Micron MU. So I was wondering if you could take a look at that one for us. Thanks.
Of course, let's pull it up here. It's pulled back right into that 50-day moving average, which is rising here on the left. So that's clearly a positive. When I look at it on the 30-minute time frame on the right, the 5-day moving average is just starting to flatten out. We've got the anchor from this high where we were rejected previously and then came very close to it here. So I think in the next couple days, if we start to see something along the lines of this, that it can get up to that VWAP, maybe break above here, and then pull back quickly and then continue this move higher. So in other words, we want to see it digest from the average price from that high, slightly pull back and then get going because the primary trend on the daily time frame is higher. So we're going to continue to give it the benefit of the doubt and wait for it to set up on the shorter term time frame. And if it doesn't, let's say we were to buy it right here, a stop would go under here. If we were to buy it here, our stop would go under there. So risk management, as Sean was just mentioning, we've got to know that first. And the price target is not 158 where it had previously been. The price target is simply higher.
Brian, thanks for analyzing that one. People are always asking me about random stocks, but Micron's a pretty good one, a nice little pullback there.
Yeah.
You can't just trade NVIDIA, right? You have to trade other names. Why don't we talk about that? Do you find that sometimes when you're trading the bigger names, levels don't work out as much, or do they do? Maybe I was just thinking that potentially more algorithmic trades, more people looking at the bigger names like NVIDIA. You could have some more paper hands where people just get so nervous they dump stock. You kind of extend out. Any experience there, especially for a lot of our traders that would either swing trade or day trade? I guess swing trading volume is somewhat important, but not as important as day trading for scalping back and forth. Any suggestions on trading bigger names versus maybe lesser volume names?
Sure. I mean, on the bigger names, you've got there's pros and cons, obviously.
Right.
I mean, one is, as you pointed out with Tesla, we pulled into that VWAP 3 times this morning and had very tradable bounces. So there is structure there. Your 200-period moving average on that short-term time frame, also there were buyers there. So if we know what these algorithms are designed around, such as pivot levels, I always sell first day if a stock moves really quickly to daily R2, I sell a third because it's been shown 77% of the time a stock does not get past daily R2, and it's a place to just peel a little bit of risk off. So if we know what drives those programs, we can use them and not just as a way to say, hey, well, there's VWAP. It often bounces at VWAP, but understand why, because there's programs in there designed to buy some at that pullback because they're filling a larger order for the day. They're selling a piece of it at daily R2 because 77% of the time it doesn't get past that price. So it's a safe place to sell some. On the other hand, we have predatory algos as well that try to drive it slightly below that VWAP. So that's why I always like to say I don't buy the touch, but I'm expecting, especially in the bigger ones, that maybe there will be a predatory program that drives it 10, 15 cents below that VWAP just to catch those first buyers at the VWAP, shake them out, and then run it higher. So I want to buy it after that little shakeout, and it's just a giant game of psychology, chess psychology.
No, it really is, and that's the thing. We always call those wicks. I try to stay away from that. That's why the more I trade, the more I feel like area longs or area shorts, right? I'm not trying to pick it to the exact penny or even the exact 10 cents, especially if these prices get higher and higher as we go. Look, I've been a big fan of Palantir since its direct list. It was a 25-year-old company when it came to market a couple of years ago. They direct listed, so a little bit different than an IPO. The symbol, of course, is PLTR. And right now, you're trying to break out, and you are actually breaking out. If you come over to my screen on a daily chart right now, nice little movement to the upside. August 5th of this next earnings report. And I mean, this name will get added to the S&P 500's 5 straight quarters of EBITDA growth and profitability, which meets that level. We were a little disappointed that it was CrowdStrike and GoDaddy and a few other names that were added last time. I still think there's a lot of juice left in Palantir, but it's breaking out. So I was going to ask you, we're long, and we're long a lot lower than this. I don't want to take any out because I do think this is a longer term story. But am I right by maybe dropping a VWAP, or sorry, an anchored VWAP, maybe down here where we started that breakout down on May 24th right here, and then looking to say maybe this 23 area, which kind of coincides with the 50-period moving average, anchored VWAP starting to edge up a little bit, which I know we like that turning up. Is that the right spot for this, or where potentially, and a lot of traders asking this in the chat right now, let's have a look at Palantir and get Brian's opinion. So let's pretend we're long, and if we're managing risk right now, I think this is a great move to the upside. A lot of traders long in and around $20, $21. I feel like whenever you're here, you take something out. Maybe that's that R2 pivot point we're talking about. Good extension for Palantir. I'm taking some off the table. Any opinions here on PLTR?
I think it's wise, Sean. I mean, we ran from 23.5 to 28.5 just in the last 2 weeks here, this rally that you're talking about. And I just put an anchor on the low there. We have a pattern here of higher highs and higher lows. So at this point, you set your stop below. If this is going to be a lower high right here, then a lower low is maybe right here. Take a little bit off at that point. And if it comes down and holds the anchor from that low and starts to rally back up, then perhaps you add back what you had sold. But it's definitely getting stretched like most things in this market. And, it only ends badly if you're the other phrase is actually sell some when you can, not when you have to.
Right.
Don't be panicking at 25 and 23.75 and saying, oh, my profit's almost all gone. Instead, feed a little bit out. And, if it pulls back, then you're dealing from a position of strength and you can place those shares lower.
Oh, man, good look on there. Our espresso machine went out of service today at 3:30. That was crazy. Our espresso machine, that's a little bit. You drink coffee in the afternoon? Some of us.
I don't. 2 cups in the morning, and then I'm good for the day.
Yeah, me too. I don't like to drink too much coffee in the afternoon. You, Adara?
Oh, I literally, if I don't drink coffee on my way home, I will fall asleep early.
Like it'd be like a walk, like one of those zombies, and then someone will chop.
No, I'll sleep for 10 hours, and then I'll wake up late the next day.
I wish I could sleep for 10.
It's required.
You sleep for 10 hours, Brian?
No, never.
I'm jealous.
What does your morning look like, Brian? Actually, as far as trading, do you review symbols? What does your morning look like?
I try not to get to the computer until 8:30 Eastern time, 6:30 here, and really till 9 o'clock. A lot of times, if I can. I mean, it's very difficult to not get there before 9. But I'm not a good pre-market trader, so rather than watch things and get excited and get emotional and make mistakes, I try not to be there. So all my homework is done the night before. And then first thing in the morning, let's say 9 o'clock or 8:45 Eastern, I'll start to set alerts on the stocks I'm looking at, see what's moving in the pre-market that's on my list. Do I want to feed some out in the pre-market? So if I'm, I'll use the pre-market for sales generally if we get an outsized move, because I think it's generally uneducated money in the pre-market, so I'll feed into that liquidity.
Right.
But I don't want to buy things and get excited. I've done that in the past and typically regretted it.
Same.
So, like you said, your best trades in Tesla today were after 10 a.m.
Late. Yep,
So there's no hurry, and I still can get emotional near the open. So I try to delay myself sitting there getting excited for the day. Doing this 30 years, I still get excited. So I've got to protect myself from myself.
Tell me about it, Brian. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I used to trade in the pre-market. Then I realized, liquidity is a little too sparse right there. And of course, you start your day at 8:30 because that's when Trader TV Live lights up, right? And so that does make sense there as well. All right. Any other names maybe you're looking at? Maybe a new idea that you're looking for someone to break out, or maybe a position that you've put on? Before I let you go, I know we're a couple minutes over, and I apologize for that.
Oh, don't apologize to me. Sean, one I haven't looked at in a long time, and everyone was trying to catch the low after COVID, is Carnival Cruise Lines. This, of course, is the, what we can point to was the COVID low, but we did undercut that in 2022. Now on this weekly chart, you can see we've been building some nice energy here with these higher lows, more repeated test of resistance. I was looking at their fundamentals. Their revenues are growing. Their estimates for earnings are growing. So here's one that maybe you could even put away, but I like it. I got long today. So I'm long just a little bit lower. Here's the daily on the left. This was an earnings report right here. And we've subsequently pulled back. We touched the 20-day moving average. Today, we got back above the anchor from the earnings report. My stop is under here right now, the low from yesterday. And I'm thinking that when you look at that weekly time frame, that we can probably continue up somewhere into here. Again, not a price target. Maybe it runs to 1835, makes the lower low, and then I get stopped out. But then I would reassess. But if I was an investor, I would also be looking at this stock thinking, hey, take a look at those revenues and earnings growth and the expected earnings growth for next year and the year after as well.
I was wondering, when you mentioned Carnival Cruise Lines there, the one that I would look at that's a lot stronger, and we talk about sometimes trading, the stronger names to the long side. I don't know if you've seen RCL, but I wonder if that's part of your plan as well. Maybe there's some pickup that eventually Carnival Cruise will get itself going and sort of, pardon the pun here, sometimes they just come, I was going to say, can it right the ship? I don't know, is that a good one, Adara?
I like it.
It's not.
Well,
I apologize for that, but you could see RCL right now just absolutely motoring to the upside. So here's the RCL daily as opposed to CCL, right? So still some breakout possibilities. But is that something that you look at? Like if some of the competitors have already broken out, it's maybe now time to sort of catch some of that wind now, wind behind the sails of Carnival Cruise as well. Is that something that you look at, or you just look at stocks individually?
Well, you know what? I hadn't looked at this one, and that one certainly has been seaworthy. And
oh yeah, oh yeah.
We'll get out to it and get that wind behind the sails, as you just mentioned. I've completely missed Royal Cruise Line. I have not looked at it at all. This one just popped up for me the other day, basically on those earnings. Right. There were 11 cents versus 31 cent loss last year. Revenue increase of 18 cents. Last year they did a penny. This year they're expected to do $1.16 and $1.54 next year. So, if the industry is strong, I think you look at them all, and looking at RCL, if there's a lower risk place to enter this, it certainly is the one with the momentum.
Yep. I like it a lot. All right, Brian, look, thank you so much for staying late. I really love having you on. I think we operate really great together. Your book is Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. And of course, a lot of people on the chat wondering if you could get it on Amazon. So the answer is...
yes.
There it is. Thank you so much. Go follow this guy at Alpha Trends. Hey, I said we would change that little Twitter bird there. What does this mean, Adara?
I'm just happy.
Oh, happy. Okay.
Like my little leg.
There we go. We're always happy to have you on. Thank you so much, Brian. Once again, they can go find you at Alpha Trends. A big friend of the show. It's Brian Shannon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. That's Trader Talk. All righty then. Thanks, Brian. I mean, what an amazing guest.
Thank you, Brian.
Really like that guy. Now he's part of the pun game.
Yeah, I'm so proud. Like some people entering, being welcomed into the pun chip. Yeah. Joining. Following suit.
Sometimes it's just too easy. Like, I wasn't even thinking of that, and then you just say, set sales.
They just come to you.
And all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, you know what time it is. All right, look, the one thing that we have to do is quickly shout out Bears versus Bulls because honestly, I mean, this guy's passing me the questions that you guys are asking. That's how we knew to talk about Palantir. That's how we knew to talk about Micron. So I just want to thank you, Bears and Bulls out there. The best thing about having a Bears and a Bulls name is you satisfy both sides.
Yeah, you're a part of
if you're
every
bearish,
division.
he's there. If you're bullish, he's got you there as well. So it's the yin and the yang. Again, Chris Brecher. When's that guy coming back on? I gotta.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Oh, he's on Wednesday, right? With
Yeah,
Neil.
so that's why you're not going to see
I
him.
miss all my friends now. I miss Danielle Shea. I miss Chris Brecher coming through, but that's okay. I think I'm going to do Friday. I'm going to tell Neil I'll do Friday.
Oh,
This guy's a.
We can do the
busted up
Q&A
brain.
again, yeah.
Want to do the Q&A?
Why not?
All right.
Why not?
All right. Thank you, Dave Clark. Let's do a quick show. Let's do it one more time in case we missed that. It's roll call right now. Erie Pages. There he is. He says, ooh-wee, good times. John is here as well. Andrew Chow is here. Brian Shannon is here. What's up, Brian? Thank you for, again, another great show. Dave Clark, great show. He says, thanks, guys, from Nick. Ricky Peters is here. Trader Buck is here. Neo Roberts is here saying, aye. Pillsbury's here. Mike Breeze. It's a breeze. I wish there was more of a breeze outside. It is warm out there.
So do I.
We are getting tons of rain over the next little. Don't fall asleep on your way home, Adara. Right there. Fair and Find Out is here as well. Nathan Williams is here. The Donkey Trader says another great show. Look, it's great to be back, man. We had a week off, and we've come back and bang, slapped the market a couple days in a row. Thanks to Brian for acknowledging those Tesla trades as well, man. It's tough to trade real time in front of everybody. And we talk about trying to be, as honest and as transparent as we possibly can. That's why we show you all those trades, and we talk about our winners and our losers. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Adara, thank you for staying late with us.
Thank you.
We are a little extended today. The wife said, I think we're having pulled pork sliders tonight.
Oh, my gosh.
That should be good. Should be good. Right there. Any plans for dinner?
No, but apparently Chipotle got a new CFO, so I might get some CMG.
We like that.
I weirdly am thinking, and not even joking, I was kind of thinking about Chipotle anyway. Then I saw that and I was like,
a bowl, a wrap, a
bowl,
salad.
chicken, maybe guac, depending on how I'm feeling. There's going to be cheese, there's going to be lettuce, there's going to be mild salsa because it's me.
Breaking news. We now know her Chipotle order. Get that out of here. All right. Thank you, everybody else. Damn, Daniel, says Juan Velasco. Thank you for watching the Sean Katias and Darryl LePage. Find us both on socials. We're out of here. We're back tomorrow, though. See ya.